40 years ago, we opened our doors with one mission in mind.
We'll be right back with the top 10 songs of 1983.
To sell quality American-made vehicles at a fair price.
You have a ride.
And we've loved every minute of the ride. Celebrating 40 years of Two Rivers Ford.
The Raytown 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Right, Babsy?
No. The price is wrong.
No.
Did your feet hit the ground when you got out of bed today?
Yes.
Beautiful day in the Music City.
That you are right.
Hey,
Good perspective.
What is up?
What up? Honk. Hit it. He's late.
Nothing's working over here.
Hit it.
Oh, okay.
I've been pulling lots of audio. Some people got a little offset by what Slay said about physical basketball yesterday. Well,
Did they go
K,
after him?
Coach K broke down what happened in the Tennessee Duke game and might have said almost exactly what Slay said.
That's interesting. You know what? And the thing is, man.
Hold on. Hold on.
Okay. Sorry.
He's wrong, Slay.
Oh, and I'm in the building.
There you go.
Good old We're about to crank up. This car ain't got no roof. This car ain't got no roof. And for everyone that tried to put one on it, no roof. There it is. That's what I wanted.
All right, go ahead. Continue.
Now, this is the thing, man.
I just took your job, Mayor.
Well, yeah.
Oh, you're good. Hey, Chad, we're a team here. Davenport.
Hey, guys. I'm trying to speak.
Sorry.
Ain't no I in team.
Unless it's...
Shut your mouth.
There is an M and an E, though.
Hey, that's what I was trying to think of, too. Man, all you got to do is watch the game. Basketball enthusiasts, true basketball enthusiasts, really kind of love this situation because it dates back to the traditional style of basketball that's kind of gone now. When you start looking at positionless ball and things of that nature. So you kind of welcome it in some states. And guys like Tom Izzo, Coach K, which I said yesterday, like looking at his players and the way, man, he had a guy called the landlord. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you think this guy ain't all in for this Shane Battier? Like, that's what it's about.
For those that missed it, you were talking about the Tennessee Duke game and how physical it was, and that
it was called a hockey game, air quotations, by some.
But that Tennessee had an older team, and sometimes younger players kind of bow down to that kind of setting.
Yes.
And they just maybe don't understand what they're about to get into.
You don't. And the reason you don't is because you're high flying. You're so skilled. It's one thing that always combats that. When in the 80s and the 90s, they used to say, let them come to the basket. If it's a point guard that's out there killing, let them come in here to the basket.
The Jordan rules were a good example of that.
Great example,
you may come to the basket, you're going to feel it.
Oh, you're going to feel it. Yeah. And you better go back and what did Jordan do to respond? Off season of weights.
Yep.
Get tougher, get stronger. It ain't about being a bully or nothing like that. It's about being able to take what you're giving out because they're going to give it to you. Yeah, man. Come in, Coach K. I respect it.
Well, so do you have it, huh? Do you have that ready?
I do.
All right, so
what?
Do you want to further elaborate on what your point was before we go to this?
No, because
for people that might have missed it.
No, what I want people to do is understand that you don't need to be missing 3HL. That's first and foremost. Let me just throw that out there.
I was going to say, just simplify it.
Yeah, I felt that it wasn't a brutal game as everyone said. I felt like it was basketball and fouls were called. You just had an experienced group going up against an inexperienced led group with a lot of freshmen. And the way you counter that is you put that forearm on them.
Let me go ahead and simplify it for you.
Okay, thank you.
If you can't take the heat, get you out of the kitchen.
That was pretty good, man.
SAWFT,
Yeah, so somebody said.
I didn't know I said it like that.
If you need a cut man, we're not really playing basketball.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh,
I forgot about that, too. It's warm in here. Is it because I got a scully on?
No, it's because you're fired up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks.
All right, here's what Coach K had to say breaking down the Tennessee Duke game.
Tennessee's, they lost their point guard about 3 weeks ago, and everyone kind of was putting dirt on their in their grave, like that's it. And they didn't realize that they're coached by one of the great coaches in our country, and Rick Barnes. And they play defense. They're one of the top 5 defensive teams in the country. Now, I know, talking to John Shire, he unbelievably worried about the game because they're older too and very physical, and they played outstanding defense. And their offense clicked in that game, and that's it. Hats off to Tennessee. They deserved it. They deserved to win. And so as much as a loss stings, when you can look back, my guys were prepared. We lost to a team that played really well against us. Could we have played better? Maybe, but maybe they made us not play as well. And then the injury to Mark Mitchell hurt. That took a really outstanding player off.
I don't know.
Hey, it's easy to talk like that when you're not the head coach anymore.
But also,
that was pretty honest though. I thought that was and
he said the loss stings. It does. Dude, when Tennessee lost to Kentucky at home on Chris Lofton's jersey night, going up into the rafters, that stung.
Yeah,
I can't imagine how much it stung for you because that's your you don't like that.
Shifted. They didn't even go to in that game. They didn't even go to. Interview right there with a player. They shifted straight to the SEC network. And I had to sit there and chuck it up and talk about the game. And dude, it stings. That's a part of it. But you got to be able to take yourself out of it and see the game as a whole because you're giving it to millions of people that are watching. So that's right. And he said it's that simple. That's exactly what it was. It ain't no rhyme or reason to it. Ain't no hockey. Ain't no boxing. Ain't no you need a cut, man. No, you got to go out there and play. That's part of the game, man.
So now the Florida Atlantic coach is talking about how they are 330th in NCAA in height. He's already this guy
with a 7'1" center.
With a 7'1" center,
which is crazy. What does Slay always say? What matters big time in March basketball in the tournament?
Guard play.
Mm-hmm. FAU is a guard-led team, correct?
They're going to shoot threes.
They're going to let them fly.
So how does Tennessee defensively match up with that style of FAU play?
Now, I'm going to say this. Did I leave my charger? Yes. That's
and
not
we
what I was
can't
gonna
help
say.
you because you don't have an iPhone.
No,
for
sorry.
my computer.
Oh.
So you can't help me.
I can't help you.
All right,
Mine
but
Where'd you leave it?
Mine looks like
Plugged
C3PO, though.
Messing with Payne and them. Payne and Todd Furman. Yeah, man. Bet the board.
Oh, you were on the Bet the Board podcast today.
I followed through today.
You woke up?
No, I'm always up. The thing is, you just got to give me the time because I'm going back to sleep. That's the whole problem. But what were we talking about?
Them
shooting. This is what I think.
Tennessee's
this is simple.
defense matching up with FAU and
This
guard
how
play
simple
what
it
they
is.
do.
This how simple it is. You've seen this in teams like Missouri. You've seen this in teams like Alabama that love to shoot the three or get to the basket. Even more so with this team, they want to shoot the three. What you cannot do, and this how they win the game. Can't turn the ball over. Can't have live ball turnovers. Live ball
That
turnovers
has been an issue for Tennessee.
And the reason they beat Duke because they only had 9. You can go
Right.
anywhere. We've been saying this for 3 years.
I mean, SEC tournament, it was what, 14,
Exactly.
17?
Yeah.
It was 14,
18.
I think it was 14 both games.
Yeah, so that
Oh,
you
it was.
can't do that.
But that's a lot.
Yeah, and 18 in the first NCAA game
Right.
against
That's it.
Louisiana. So
That's what I was thinking, yep.
you can travel anywhere in the world and play if you can keep it 9 or less turnovers. I guarantee it. And so you're going to be in the game. With this one, don't turn the ball over. Don't have live ball turnovers. Live ball turnovers are when the ball is turned over as a steal or a deflection and they take the ball and able to go down and get in transition. Dead ball turnover if you pass it to I pass it to Bass passes it to Mayor, and they go out of bounds.
Got it.
Okay, it's dead ball. We get to go back and set our defense.
Live ball, which lets
That
them
ain't gonna hurt
run.
'em. Boom.
Yeah.
We get to, so that's one. The second thing is you cannot let this team get second opportunities. They're a good offensive rebounding team because they shoot the 3. What does that make happen? If you shoot long shots, you get long what?
Rebounds.
Boom. So those guards get to play into the game and get rebounds. Can't let them do that. You can't contest and run by them to leak out. You got to contest, turn around, box out. 5 people go rebound like you saw in the game against Duke. You got to be engaged. It'll be that simple.
They have 9 players that average 15.7 minutes per game or more.
They just
9.
like Tennessee.
Yeah.
9 guys deep.
Here are their 3-point shooting numbers: 38.8%, 36.5, 39.9, 33.8, 38.9, 33.6, 33.3, 54.5. Not shooting very many. But when you get that many guys that can hit more than 30% of their shots, you have to defend that.
Yeah, and 7 of those
And
guys
you
have
got to
shot
come
100.
out to defend it.
So
Yeah.
you would say, just make sure the shot clock's running down, close out on Mayer. No. Mayer shot over 103, so that means he's looking to shoot the 3. It ain't just because of the situation. He's looking to shoot the 3. So, yeah, you got to be able to know who your shooters are. That's why I like them in this game. You just can't. If you get down by, they come out and hit 7 threes in the first half, it's trouble. Tennessee's not a get out the hole type team
So
because of the scoring.
Right.
it's funny. Did I turn myself off? Oh.
No, you was on.
You're good.
I accidentally hit the volume button on my headphones. So it's funny when I was thinking about, I'm like, okay, let's really break down this Tennessee FAU matchup or whatever. I'm like, oh, should we get somebody on to talk about it? I'm like, no,
We got him.
we don't need anybody on to talk about it because we have Ron Slay sitting in this studio who has watched film of these
I have
teams
watched.
a ton to be able to address all of these
right.
questions. So
Also coming up,
I'm looking forward to this.
today. Tom Crean, former Indiana
break it
Marquette
down
coach,
even more.
now with ESPN.
Are you?
You.
He's got great glasses. We've had him on before. He's awesome. So we'll break down
is.
Sweet 16 with him. Also, what else we have? Todd Furman, your boy. Bet
Todd
the Boy
Father.
podcast.
And you made it
At
this
4:30.
week
I did make it. I
Okay,
can't wait
good.
to. I can't wait to get my report.
at
how my
6
report card
a.m.,
is.
not 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And when we come back, Coach Mack, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans, we'll talk about the NFL draft with Coach Mack. He's all in it. Real quick, can I make an announcement, Huck?
Whoa.
Announcement?
From Mayor?
Yeah, Slay passed this along at 4:42 in the morning, something like that. Your boy Dennis Daly played so well last year.
No, this is Babs.
No, I did.
Oh, that was bad.
We responded
You
at 4:42.
Yeah, happened to be up also.
I sent it at 1 a.m.
Yeah, me and my dog woke up then.
And so Dennis Daly played so well at left tackle last year that he got a 2-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals.
Not just a 1-year deal, a 2-year deal.
We'll be right back.
What the what?
here is dead.
Cross him off then. Amazing. Got woo go vols in that promo too. Hey, let's talk about Xfinity and Xfinity Internet. Have you recently switched to 5G home internet and you're suffering from the whole 5G home internet issues? Maybe you had mobile phone users take priority over your signal at your house. How annoying is that? So what do you have to do? Just switch to Xfinity. Xfinity Internet. Switch today with 3 times more bandwidth, Supersonic speeds, reliable connections you can count on. Xfinity gives you internet that works the way it is supposed to. And all you have to do is take that first step. Learn more at xfinity.com/TMOFacts. We love our Xfinity internet because it powers everything in our crazy household. And now through March 21st, new customers, you can get started with 200 megabit per second Xfinity internet with Wi-Fi equipment included, all just $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract. 2 years, like a Dennis Daily contract. There you go, 2 years. Go to Xfinity.com/TMOFacts. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. It does require paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account restrictions. Apply taxes and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
3HL 1045 The Zone. The poll the other day, which of the 3HL members is most likely to have the cops called on them?
That would not be me, for the record.
Recount.
Slay, Mayor, Babs, Hunk. Here was the final tally.
Recount.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor at 3.8%.
Most definitely recount.
Hunk, 13%.
Hunk was so much more than you.
That's what's crazy.
Well, Hunk's crazy.
Recount.
No, you shouldn't want to recount. You're going to end up winning.
Hunk is 3 times as crazy as me.
Okay, based on some of the things I say.
No, see, Mayor's the instigator. You're hearing it already. Hunk's crazy.
Exactly.
He's trying to distance
We
himself.
should have said
even more.
accomplice. Who's the accomplice? You would have won.
Yeah, 100%.
Babs, 38.9%.
I mean, that's not even 40, Slay.
Why would you do that? Just let the man read the numbers. You ain't got.
Which of the 3HL members is most likely to have the cops called on them? Slay, 44.3%.
Oh!
Now, to be fair, you've told a couple of stories on the air that people might remember.
That's right.
In your younger days.
That's right. I like it.
You know, the numbers don't lie.
Maybe the man I am today.
Still want to know who pulled the fire.
Maybe, exactly. Maybe the party animal I am today.
Ed Hesse Jim. Never stood in Slay's way.
That's right.
That's true.
Man, that's crazy. I was about to clear my name with that. JR, why you didn't answer? Y'all remember sitting in there?
I do.
And he did answer after the show.
He called you. He called you.
That is your boom boom room.
I mean, the Cliff Notes
Yeah.
version of that is Pearl Combs played a basketball game at Hillsboro. Somebody pulled the fire alarm.
There was evidence on Slay's hands.
Well, it's true, because Slay was trying to lift it back up so we can get the game started.
This is what Slay says.
Good Samaritan. Good guy. You want
After
The
he
authorities-
ripped it down, he tried to put it back up
That's
to
right.
make it
No,
stop.
somebody else ripped it down. I put it back up, and had just happened when I saw the ink. Said I'll write my name.
I think we need to ask Coach Mack if he believes you on
On the
any of
wall.
this.
Then you signed the wall. You autographed the wall.
That's right. Ron Jr. People thought it was Ron Jr.
Oh, but it was the guy who did it.
That's right.
Okay.
Like Ron Slay Jr. calling me right now. for
Coach
some
Mack
odd reason.
joins us now. Presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Hey, Coach.
That's an interesting poll.
Who would you have voted
Can
for,
you believe
Coach
Babs
Mack?
finished second?
Well, hey, Ron Slay, no doubt. And here's the reason. Nobody's going to call the cops on Don. I mean, look, but Ron Slay, you got a 6'8" dude come in there raising hell, you're calling the cops.
Oh,
That's right. That's one of them bears you talking about, Coach Mack, coming in there with 2-foot bear.
that's right.
Yeah, now, with the group that you run around with, and I'm including Hunk in this, you've got some instigators. I used to have friends like that would instigate it, and I'd have to get in a fight in the bar.
Yeah.
Yep. We got 2 of them.
We do.
That's
Well,
so, but
what-
absolutely they call on Ron Slay because they need help.
Well, what ended up happening was that Babs was out to dinner, like a work dinner, and ended up where, the manager might have told her, I'm about to call the cops on you.
Well, look, then that manager needs to get another job.
Yes. You are 100% right. He is a fool.
I mean, first of all, I don't know the man. I can't say that. First of all,
Well, I know his first and last name because I found him.
Yeah, but you're not going to say it.
look, first of all, I know that Dawn and whoever she was with are not going to any dive places to eat dinner. And second of all, if you've got a job as a manager at one of those places, customer service is part of your job.
See? Like not telling a table that they're too loud.
Yeah, she was too loud, allegedly.
But if you were eating in a convent, I can see that, but you probably weren't.
Coach Mack, you are just nailing this visit today.
I love it. Coach Mack, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Can I start?
Yeah, Davenport's got her hand up in the air.
Let me say one more thing before we get started on whatever you want to do. Ron Slay, that thing with John Henderson was so solid.
Nah, it was all right,
that's
wasn't it, Coach,
cool.
man?
No. Look, that was so. I was at an event Saturday afternoon with Bullock and with Javon Curse and with a lot of Titans fans.
Oh, those
And
are
of course,
two of the best
of course,
Titans.
of course, Keith is going in, and of course, Javon is already in. That's a huge honor. And the way that y'all pulled that off, Brad Willis is crushing this job there at the Hall of Fame, just crushing it. But anyway, that's a great event. But the way that you guys handled it, I mean, and look, I could still remember going with Joe Green in there. You talk about two bears standing on two legs. him and Big Albert playing there. When we left there, Joe Green said, if we don't do anything, we need at least take one of them.
Get one of them, yeah.
We were talking with, I think it was Albert. I can't remember if it's Albert or Big John, but about that Prowler package that they unveiled in 2001. And the last game of the season at Florida, they were 17-point underdogs. And the thought as an offensive lineman of watching those two dudes just walking around pre-snap had to be, I mean, they said they had Hainsworth said they had a blast with that.
Yeah.
Hey, Brent, you saw it here at the Titans what Jim Washburn did with him.
Yes.
I mean, he did the same thing. I mean, we had a rush package, especially on third down when they were in third and chains, and, we played great run defense with that team and get them to where they had to throw. He did a lot of things with Albert and with Kyle. And, I mean, just start thinking about it. But I can never forget, leaving Rocky Top down there after that workout. Joe Green and I looked at each other and went, what the hell?
It's a monster.
Albert's last season here was maybe the greatest defensive tackle season ever.
Yeah, really, Brent. The 2 years that he played, 2 years that he played on the tag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those 2 years, he was the best defensive lineman in the league, the best, the absolute best. And coincidentally, he got a $100 million contract.
I was going to say, because it was a contract year.
To go to a system that he didn't fit.
I love Big Al, but seriously.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you do. Yeah, I talked to Keith and Javon about that. It was a great event anyway. Just talking to them about it, and Javon was saying, you know what, we really had a tight group. Wish we could have stayed. Of course, Keith was the one that stayed. I said, hey, this business, you're a professional athlete, you get a chance, especially in this day and age. That's why they fought for free agency with that first collective bargaining agreement. You got to go get your money. You got to go get your money. And Javon said, I should have never left Jim Washburn as far as for what he was teaching me, what I was doing, because the things they did with me in Philly weren't the same that Wash was doing with me. I said, but you had to go get your money. And I don't begrudge any professional athlete.
Right.
In the money when they got a chance.
Oh, no question about it. The thing with Albert, though, was weird is that he went to that 3-4 and he just didn't really fit. Like, I didn't understand what they saw, like, in that fit. But
it's the Redskins. Commanders now, but.
Yeah, whatever they were.
Right.
They look. You bring that dude in there, and if you watch what he did here, those 2 years you're talking about, and then you're going to put him in there and make him two gap, I mean, something's wrong.
Yeah, he even talked to us about that. He thought it was strange too, but and he was frustrated by it when he got up there.
Well, he was right. He was right. He was right. He still got his money. Go ahead.
Coach Mack, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Coach, I mean, there are a million mock drafts, and I know you've been diving into the draft for sure for weeks and months. And just looking at Mel Kiper's latest yesterday, he's got, and you always talk about there's a quarterback draft and then another draft, right? So he's got 4 of the first 5 picks now as quarterbacks. Will Anderson, the lone outlier. From a Titan perspective, that's great news to get all those guys out of there.
Well, it is a great news. It really is. First of all, I look at no mock drafts, especially this early. But I know those guys got to make a living.
Yep.
But there is a quarterback draft, and then there's an everybody else draft. For full disclosure today, now we're deep into it. Rhett and I are. We put together our initial top 100, and, of course, obviously we ended up with our top 110. These are guys I've watched film on and feel, decent about. We'll change it 2 or 3 times before we sit down at Old Smoky to do the draft when it shows up. But anyway, and those guys, those quarterbacks that we're talking about, and I'm going to put Hendon Hooker somewhere in that group too, because somebody, maybe not the first round, but I've got him listed in my top 110 because somebody's going to jump up and not worry about that knee, depending on what the progress is. But those other ones, I can very much see that, Brent. I really can.
Like a team with a quarterback with 1 year left on his deal or 2 years that's really 1 year left on his deal would make a lot of sense. And it's funny, I have heard the last few days some talk about him potentially falling in the latter part of the first round, actually.
Well, even if it's taken in the first 2 days, I mean, that's top 110. the quarterbacks that I have in that group that we just went through, clearly you got Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Richardson, Levis, and then Hendon Hooker. I really believe Hendon Hooker might have been up in the top of this thing at least, 2 or 3 if he hadn't hurt that knee.
Man. So which guy out of those 4 quarterbacks is the cleanest, do you think?
The cleanest?
What
Yeah,
do you mean cleanest?
They all have things that you can knock on. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
Anthony
like top
Richardson
to bottom, right?
Very few starts, and he's got all this athletic ability. C.J. Stroud in the
C.J.
system,
Stroud.
and then Bryce Young is small.
C.J. Stroud.
Okay. Why? What do you like about him?
Because well, look, I mean, this guy is a really good thrower of the football, and that's different. He's a really good location guy. He can read the field. I mean, he's very, very accurate. He's a bigger dude. He didn't use his legs as much this year, but when he did, you could see that he could do that. So to me, I mean, people are going to look. I mean, nobody was surprised when Bryce Young went in there and measured short. He is short, okay, but he does a lot of other things that are phenomenal. But C.J. Stroud, to me, when you start looking at him, I mean, you can pick apart any of them, up until the draft.
Yeah.
But C.J. Stroud, to me, because Will Levis is up and down, and there's a lot of reasons for it, but he's got an arm. Anthony Richardson is the biggest gamble and has got probably the most skill sets you look at and go, whoa, we can make this work. You know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, C.J. Stroud.
Who's the best non-quarterback in this draft, do you think?
Will Anderson.
Yeah.
From Alabama.
Yeah,
I mean, Will Anderson, I think I may have said, maybe on with you guys, I can't remember, I do a lot of these, is that he impressed me at the Combine for 2 reasons. First of all, he's an extremely, extremely gifted athlete. And number 2, being as gifted as he was, right, and is, and at the Combine, so, I mean, he knows, his representation knows he's going high in the draft, really high, and he did every drill.
Yeah.
Every drill. Now, people say, well, he was first in the drills. Well, it's Anderson. They go alphabetically. So, he had no choice.
First guy out there.
First guy out there. But at the end of it, they asked a few guys to stay to run those figure 8s around the loop and pick up the towels. And by the way, a Jim Washburn drill that got incorporated into the Combine because of Wash. And he said, yeah, I'll stay and do it. So you asked me that question, I gave you that answer.
Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, which one, if you had to take, would you snatch first?
Well, Jalen Carter's a beast.
Okay.
Jalen Carter's a beast. Nolan Smith is an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and of course at Georgia, you kind of got to look. You had a number 1 pick come out of Georgia last year that was a rotational player, right?
Mm-hmm.
That went to Jacksonville.
Yep.
And Nolan Smith, I mean, look, they've got him stacked up down there at Georgia like cordwood.
Right.
I mean, and so the thing that happened is, but as far as a beast, just to take over a game, it's Jalen Carter.
Coach Mack, now you know I can't let you slide by that. Give me what is cornwood though? Give me what
cordwood.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you said cornwood. I was like, okay, that's now Coach Mack, give me something new every now and then. I ain't know what that was.
So what do you do with cordwood?
Burn it.
You stack it up and then you burn it in your fireplace. Thanks, Dawn.
It's like firewood.
Yeah.
You got to cut it first and then you stack it up in pyramids so that it dries out right. And then you burn it.
Yeah.
How do I know this and you guys
you're
don't?
from
No,
Texas.
I thought it was corn.
That is true.
That's true too.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, I'm all about the back porch. Stogies and fireplaces lit. Summers, winter, spring, fall.
You're a perfect back porch guy.
You better believe it.
hey, when we'd go to training camp, I had some friends that had a big house at Forest Highlands, and when Joe Green was on, talk about Big Joe again, you talk about sitting on the porch smoking cigars. Huge house at the Highlands up there in Flagstaff. Beautiful freestore. Beautiful. On the golf course. So I'd take my whole staff out there for dinner one night, and that's all Joe Green would do. Go park on the back, sit there and start smoking a cigar, drinking some wine, tell the lady that owned the house to fix his plate, bring it to him, and then he'd just sit there and watch the elk come across the greens down there. He'd look at me and say, Coach Mack, This is the life.
God, you just painted a picture,
that.
right? Man, what? You just painted a picture for me, Coach Mack. I'm supposed to do the rest of the show now? Be daydreaming about elk and cigars.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Hey, okay,
I didn't
tell
think
me.
that sentence would be said on the show.
That was
Nope.
beautiful, though, man. God, can you see one of them elk passing by all slow, ain't bothering nobody?
No,
You
it
puffing
was
the
at night too, and and he said, "Good God Almighty, I've never seen something like this close up." So my friend that owned it said, "Here, just let's get in the pickup." Took he and Johnny Rowland, who's on my staff as a running back coach. One of the all-time greats in this league too, is the running back for the Cardinals. He took them spotlighting around, up there. And they saw a bunch of them. They came back like two elementary kids. Wow, we've never done that in our life.
That's how it would have been.
They've done it. They've done everything.
That's how I would have been, Coach. You talking about spotlighting? You need somebody to spotlight the ball for the Titans, and when you're gonna guard these receivers, cornerback. If that's a guy you got to take, who would you love to be able to have off the board?
Christian Gonzalez from Oregon.
Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. Okay.
Yeah,
Why?
I've got that. Look, I'll tell y'all because we did it today. Rhett and I did. This is our first dig. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 corners in the first 110.
Wow.
Christian Gonzalez, Joey Porter Jr., Cam Smith from South Carolina, Keely Ringo from Georgia, Devon Witherspoon. These are all different, but they're all talented. Devon Witherspoon from Illinois, Clark Phillips III from Utah, Deontay Banks from Maryland, who made himself some money at that combine, DJ Turner from Michigan, Caillou Blue Kelly from Stanford, Emmanuel Forrest from Georgia, Julius Brents from K-State, Tyreek Stevenson from Miami, and Darius Rush from South Carolina.
Wow. Yes, sir. That's a rundown.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know you're not a mock draft guy, but I was intrigued by this.
Okay.
Mel Kiper has the Titans taking Tyree Wilson at number 11, who is a defensive end from Texas Tech. Do you know much about him?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, first of all, he broke his foot. All right.
Yes.
So he couldn't work out at the combine. But I've got Will Anderson in my top. I got Will Anderson, Miles Murphy from Clemson, and then Tyree Wilson. This guy's a beast. His game is not real refined, but I mean, this is a guy 6'6", 275 that can just take things over. All right, and he's still got some refinement. He is. Thank you, and that's exactly right. And playing in the Big 12 and especially playing up there, at Texas Tech. But when you look, the first time I laid eyes on him personally was when I was at the combine, and he's standing there with the group, and I'm going, all right, well, that's one of those dudes. And then you put on the tape, and you can see him do some things, but at times he doesn't do as much as you'd like for him to. And it's just it's NFL coaching and refinement's what he needs.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on where that foot is. Go ahead, Dawn.
Yeah, I thought that he was.
Oh, did you do that game?
I did. Yeah, I did. I did a Texas Tech game. Well, I thought he was raw, just like you said. Yeah. He needs some refinement, but I also wanted more of a how do you say it, like dog in him. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I do. Well, and I think that goes along with what I said. There's sometimes you get a lot out of him, and sometimes you want more, right?
Yeah. I just wonder if the lack of go sometimes is because of a lack of knowledge and his rawness in the game, or if it's because of his personality. Because he's for his size, he's a very soft spoken guy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
See, and those are the things you would know, and because you got an insight. See, I don't get to go talk to these guys like I used to for 31 years. I don't get to go live with them, bring them in, talk to them. So I don't know any of that. I just know physically what I see, and then when I watch him, I know that, if I'm drafting at some point, I would like for him to be on my team, not knowing any of his negatives. And what you bring up, when I talked to a few people in this league during this time, is exactly what's been brought up.
Yeah. Interesting.
Coach Mack, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plan.
Hey, get him, Babs.
Look at what time it is.
I don't care.
Here we go.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
3:41 p.m. Mark it. I don't care.
No. Coach Mack, honk off.
Yeah.
Coach Mack. Dennis Daly got.
Ron, if you don't care, I don't care.
That's right. Dennis Daly got a 2-year deal with Arizona, and I am shook.
God, you know what? Congratulations. That's a hell of a move by him. You know, congratulations.
Yes, it is.
That's
I
all.
mean, really.
That's all
You
I
talk
needed to
about-
hear.
Yeah, that's a hell of a move by him. You know, God bless him.
Don loves it when people say that.
I
God
love it.
bless him. He can't block anybody.
Bless his heart. Oh,
Well, see that's the Southern thing, and
Yep.
so I mean, I don't begrudge anybody their money, but you know, I don't backseat drive anybody's franchise, but God bless him.
thank you.
God
Coach
bless
Mack.
you, Coach Mack. Love you. Thank you.
See you guys. See you.
See you,
Thanks.
Coach
See you,
Mack.
Coach.
Appreciate you.
Got him stacked up at Georgia like cordwood.
Hey, man, that's what I'm talking about.
Number one player overall last year. Rotational player.
Rotational guy.
Jalen
got-
Carter is a beast when you watch his film.
Without
man.
question. But that's why I wanted to ask about Nolan Smith, because people have been raving about him. Savage in particular have been raving about him. And then you get a linebacker running a 4.39. Like, that's
By the
not,
way, in Mel Kiper's mock draft, he's got the Titans taking that Texas Tech defensive end. Nolan Smith's still on the board.
see, that's what
at
I'm
that
saying.
point.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
That'd be hard to pass up, bro.
Yeah.
When we come back, the Jets, no new news on Aaron Rodgers, but they are importing and exporting wide receivers. We'll tell you about it next. 3HL 1045 The Zone. HL 1045 The Zone. I was just looking at the feed. It looked like I was frozen, but I just wasn't moving. It's weird. Go up to Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That's where you need to get that next new vehicle. Maybe you've got something that's been killing you in terms of repair bills. Maybe you need something a little more reliable. Maybe you need that payment cut a little bit. Maybe you need more room. I don't know what your situation is, but go tell them, and they'll be able to help you without any pressure at all. They simply want you in the vehicle that's right for you. And that's what will happen when you go see my friends at Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, 3450 Tom Austin Highway in beautiful Springfield, Tennessee. That's where you're going to find the best vehicle buying experience you've ever had. Go take your test drive. Go inside. They'll help make the numbers work. Car, truck, SUV, Jeep, whatever you need, new or pre-owned, they will be able to help you. Check them out online. GuptonMotors.com is the website. All of the dealership information is there. All of the inventory is there as well. GuptonMotors.com. Again, 3450 Tom Austin Highway in Springfield, Tennessee, about 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. That's Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. 3HL 1045 The Zone. YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
What up, though?
Twitch, please.
Look at her.
Mm-hmm.
She's ready to rock and roll.
I got real excited.
Up, down, up, down.
Babs' prize closet coming up
Oh,
at 5:20.
Do I get to read that line? That's Babs' line.
maybe. We'll talk about it.
Thanks.
How many Biscoff cookies you got over there?
Oh, we got a roll behind you.
Oh, I'm about to bargain.
We got
about
Lisa.
to bargain my way.
What a bargain for
We
me.
should have like 120,
Just
but we don't know if the Cookie Monster Pan has been
Yeah,
attacking.
Lucas
them.
Panzica, he stole them all. Oh, by the way, I got him to send me how to say that's bonk in Portuguese.
Can you say this, Babs?
No, because I can't figure out how to pull it up. But I did get him to send it to me. He said, this is what he said. He said, now listen, there's not like an exact translation of this. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why not? Bunk is not a normal word that you use in Portuguese. But he came up with something that is very similar.
That's good.
Yep. So I'll work on that and I'll get right back to you guys.
Thank you.
Bonk.
Bonk. Signing off.
I'm like, what do you mean there's not an exact translation?
What did I tell you when
Pan?
you started down that path? I'm like, I don't think
there's not an exact translation.
Yeah, there's
It's
not going to
weird.
be a word for bunk in Portuguese and French. And
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I mean, it also means like Shiano, right? Like, so you could, can I curse in French on the show?
Now that's a good question because I want to use Italian sometime doing it.
Ooh, can we, Hunk? Can
we
you
get
look
a
into
ruling,
that?
Hunk? This is on you. Don't call Paul
See what
Mason.
the FCC says. Yeah, we don't want that opinion. We want yours.
I'm just going to go ahead and give you the go ahead. You guys can go in as long as it's not in English. I think we're okay.
Okay, good.
All the French people out there will be.
Can you believe this
They're like
3HL?
They're like, pass the baguette, and I'm offended by 3HL.
Hey, I will say this.
Y'all welcome.
Mr. Babs was on a tournament trip, and there was a group of people saying, oh, yeah, like sometimes language gets bad in that drive time and on some of these radio shows. I'm like,
That's not
it ain't
us.
us. Sometimes
There's a lot of Will Bowling talk in the chat today.
What's going on?
I don't know, but I'm just telling everybody how freaking like much of a genius that dude is. When
he
you
rock and roll.
consider, like, when you consider how old Will is, what is he? 25?
Yes.
Probably 22.
I'm like, don't make me
Don't
mama
understand.
bear on Will because I will, and I've done it before.
Do y'all understand? Like, most people, like, if we're doing our job well, you guys think what we do is easy.
Correct.
Okay. And so we get that all the time. And a couple of times we've invited listeners, like we've done contests and had listeners in that have, big voices on social media and all this stuff. And they get in here and we'll turn a mic on and they'll just freeze.
Mm-hmm.
That's different now.
And then you go from that, like being a guest and having questions thrown at you, to like organizing a show and coming up with topics and thinking about which guests might make sense and all, and getting them on and all of those things. It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot. So TUD was really nice to me and said, man, Will's fantastic, but he's not you. And I'm like, well, let's be fair here. This is year 27 for me in radio.
Yeah.
There is no.
You've been doing radio longer than Will Bowling's been alive.
There.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
true. Now,
That was fun for me to just throw at you. You old
Welcome to
grizzled
the
vet.
AARP radio licensing
To
club.
be fair, like I did Hunk's job for a while, and I had a program director that
You've done every job, I feel like, in radio.
Billy Shears was my program director. He said, you will never be on the air.
Wrong.
And so I went from
Where's
doing,
Billy? Can we get Billy on the show?
I don't know what's usually when we ask about people, you know what happens.
I know. They're usually
So
not
I
with
did
us
Hunk's job for a
anymore.
while, and then I went into sales. So I sold radio for a while, and then I did both, and then I produced again, but still had a mic that could turn on at that point, kind of like Hunk. And then I got my hosting. I mean, like, it takes a long time a lot of times in this business, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The thought about where I was at 25 and thinking about hosting a show at 25 on one of the best radio stations in the country, y'all, what Will Bowling has done is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that, okay, here's the other thing about Will Bowling. Forever at the Zone, people were like, trying to work on digital. Like, what can we do digitally? Will Bowling comes in here, sets up Zone TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we
Now,
will all
don't
have
get me
his
wrong.
back And we'll give him crap.
He's kind of dorky sometimes.
yeah,
I mean,
very
let's
true.
be honest.
Yeah, that's
No,
real.
we don't need to just keep propping him up on this pedestal.
Yeah,
now
yeah.
he's
Well,
got.
I am right
there
now.
are some moments where we've got to we got to get him on the right side.
Yeah,
here.
you got to grab him by his collar. Hey,
You know,
Will.
his dad jokes, like,
Yeah.
he's like the oldest 25-year-old ever.
See, and that's it right there.
But here's the other
That's
thing
it.
about Will. Like, he completely understands his role on that show, too.
And he does it well.
Really early on. Like, he hasn't been doing it that long. But to throw Ramon and Kayla stuff, like, I mean, that's not easy either. And to keep it on the rails, so to speak. I'm really not good at that.
What rails?
Yeah.
There,
You
we
got no
don't.
rails?
We ain't got no rail.
Yeah.
I don't like
Car ain't got no roof on 3HL.
That's right. I ain't got no room.
Cousin
Got no
Roger
rails?
says Will is very old for 25. I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
we joke about that with him.
Yes.
Like, he's got like a 55-year-old soul.
It does. It's,
Maybe
it's
even
part
older
of
than that. I don't know.
Probably
But,
same-ish.
and then think about Buck Rising too, because like Buck's kind of polarizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people still listen,
Yep.
and he's going to have a
I
different
feel like you
take
either
on
love
things,
or hate Buck,
which
right?
is great, right? Like
Yeah.
we need that on this radio station. And-
Absolutely.
And he does. I
I love to listen to Buck so that I can text him and tell him he's wrong.
Yes. Think about how old he is. What is Buck? 28.
29.
Buck's 29. Think about that. And he hosts a sports talk show by himself. Now,
Yeah.
Lucas is on in there.
Yeah, that's most of And Bert too.
And
now.
Bert, too. And
Yeah.
Lucas does a great job, and so does Bert. And you need, what we call in this business, you need bounce.
Yep.
So that's why you don't hear a lot of.
Get out of my head, Slay.
Why am I going into sports talk radio theory here? I'm like teaching a class.
I
we
don't
go
know.
with bounce.
But that's why
You're
in
about to be
politics,
professor on us.
like on 99.7, stations like that, you have like a one-person show because you have a lot of 50-50 topics.
Right.
Right.
In sports, you don't really have that necessarily. So you need to be able to have some banter, right?
Really?
And have some fun. So
Facts.
Yeah.
that's why sports is a little bit
Well,
different. But
this
that's
is
what
what
makes
I'll say,
Buck even
too.
more impressive to me.
This is what I love about this station. We have 4 different shows that are completely different.
That's very
All
true.
4 of them.
And listen,
All
man.
4 of them.
Yep.
And nobody's going to love all of them and nobody's going to hate all of
Yep.
them. There is something for everybody on this station.
Well, and behind the curtain
Absolutely
too.
right.
Like, I mean, it's we're all moving in the same direction, which
Right.
is really,
Yep.
really cool.
Especially when you have such different personalities.
But we give each other crap, but we love each other. And anyway, that's a little of the inside here. I don't know where we went there. Jets signed McCole
and don't
Hardman.
be going after our boy Will.
William Lee.
Jets signed McCole Hardman, wide receiver. They get some speed. That's an import to the roster. And then you start thinking about their wow, we're late. Then you start thinking about their wide receiver room.
Talking about rails.
Alan Lazard, they signed from the Packers pre
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers. Garrett Wilson, rookie of the
Rookie of the
year.
year.
Elijah Moore was on the roster. We'll get to
Yep.
him in a second. Corey Davis, Denzel Mims.
Wow.
Nice room.
Elijah Moore just got dealt to Cleveland. Elijah Moore and a third-round pick for Cleveland's second-round pick, which is actually their first pick.
And this
Pick 42. So
Let me
the
go
Jets
look at
now
this.
have 42 and 43.
Let me go look and see who's hanging around. We'll get to that.
All right.
Wait, so Cleveland,
Don't have a
that's
first.
crazy.
They gave it all to Houston.
Yeah, they've got a lot invested in their quarterback. All right, Mel Kiper's got a new mock draft. We'll talk about that next. 3HL 1045 this home.
What's happening, good people? Ron Slayer, man. Superbook Sports. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't listen to the parlay yesterday because the parlay would have left you high and dry for yesterday. Yeah, but no.
But
they
over
would've-
time, you do great.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
why I'm telling you to get back on it today because it's
Don't
running.
just jump off the train when you lose.
That's just a stop. You know, you get some refreshments. You know, but get back on the train because we got the NIT going on tonight, and you better believe I got a parlay that's gonna pop off. And this is the way. If you're not already involved, this is the way you get involved. You go download Superbook Sports app on your mobile device or visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Now, it's not me coming up with the odds, even though sometimes I do. But they got a lot, and I mean a lot of the most trusted names in Vegas right there coming up with these bets and coming up with these odds. And you better believe that they are putting them out. And you can capitalize off this. You want some valuable information? Well, listen to 3HL. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Book it.
Good afternoon from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Joe Hunk. Vanderbilt getting ready for the next round of the NIT tonight. facing UAB, 6 p.m. tip. That game is going to be on ESPN2. The winner of that will head to Las Vegas for the NIT semifinals to take on the winner of Utah Valley and Cincinnati. Around the NFL, the Jets are making moves. They just signed former Chiefs wide receiver Mecole Hardman to a 1-year deal. They've also traded away Elijah Moore. It's a year after he requested a trade, but they still traded him. In return, the Jets are getting a second-round pick from the Browns. The Browns get Elijah Moore as well as a third, and former Titans tight end Austin Hooper is now a Raider. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Hunt, get ready for Mel Kiper sound. Brent Doherty with you on 104.5 The Zone. I just said that.
Hi, Mayor.
That's what I was going to say.
You weren't supposed to say that over the mic.
What up, y'all?
No, we tell everything here. Hunt, get ready for Mel Kiper sound.
On top
Again.
of that, Rose.
Howard Stern does it so we can do it.
Is it?
Like Stern will sit there and go, all right, cut 3. You know what? That's why.
Yeah, but doesn't he do it himself?
Yeah, I wish I could fire. Sorry, Hunk. I wish I could fire my own stuff off. They told me we would.
That's what I was about to say.
They told us we would be able to when we moved into the new studio.
Why are we not able to?
I don't know. I want control over that.
Because nobody trusts you guys. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Nobody trusts you guys.
I cannot believe you just said that.
This is the reason I would be arrested first, okay? This is why I had the cops called on me. Because they don't trust you guys with the buttons.
Honestly, that's probably true. But we're gonna get past that.
I would hit Car Ain't Got No Roof over and over and over.
Oh, okay.
Continuously.
Maybe it's a good thing. You're right.
Okay,
You're
I just need
So
one button.
I can have it.
Yeah, you can have it. I just need one button. Just give me one hotkey. I'm straight.
I'm texting our manager right now to find out when it's happening.
By the way, he did our esteemed carpet leader.
Thanks for I just saw it. Thank you for not cussing in French.
Our esteemed carpet leader. I gotta tell y'all, man, y'all be shocked by this. We haven't really been called on the carpet.
What's the carpet?
Where the suits live.
Oh, okay.
Even though they don't wear suits
I don't even want to
anymore.
know then.
Does anybody wear suits anymore? Slay does. He's on the SEC network.
Hey, Blazers are back.
Who?
Are they?
Trailblazers.
Blazer, like women Blazers.
Oh, yeah.
They are back in style.
With shoulder pads, too, which
I
drives
know.
me crazy.
Which, do you know what's awesome?
With hoodies.
I still have some from like 10 years ago
Oh, dude,
that I
they-
never got rid of.
It all
They're
goes
back,
back.
baby.
Just put them back on.
You're back now.
See? That's right.
It must not be raining because I see scooter guys out there now. All right. Hunk did that to the SEC tournament and almost died twice.
Yes. We'll do it again for the NFL draft as well. I'm going to just roll around the
NHL
city
draft?
on scooters. NHL draft, whatever it needs, I'll be on the scooter.
All right. Where are we going? You want to go mock draft? Mel Kiper released his big board and his new mock draft yesterday,
get it.
and it's really interesting who he has the Titans taking now. But it all starts with, should we run the audio first, Hunk?
Yeah, let's go. with
Okay.
that.
Mel Kiper talking about Peter Skoronski. And the talk about him is left tackle. Could he slide inside? Will he be there at 11? He's one of the better guys in the draft, is what they say. What did Mel Kiper say about him?
That's questionable. And that's the reason why with the 32 and a half
Left tackle.
arms and
Left tackle.
6'3" and a half and the question whether he could survive, at left tackle, right tackle in the NFL where he's going to have to be a guard. And, hey, look what Quentin Nelson, look at Zach Martin, look at the guards and what they've been able to do and how they've impacted offensive line. So, and I think he can play all 5 spots. I don't think there's any question he can play all 5 spots. We have Patrick McCarry's here in Baltimore with the Ravens, and he's a great swingman. And we had to kick out the left tackle this year. He did a great job against Jacksonville and Trayvon Walker. Didn't give up a sack. Had a heck of a game. So that was after Ronnie Stanley got hurt. So, I remember Brad Hopkins came out of Illinois, a great football player. It was about 6'3". So the arm length with the height is a concern. You don't usually have that in the NFL over the years. So you have to look at history and how that bodes for a player. But Skoronski's versatility, how he played, which was great. His film evaluation grades were off the charts. It got down to those two. I actually had Skoronski going 1 pick later to Philadelphia. So either one of those two would make sense. Johnson, I think, gives you more of the prototypical left tackle right tackle in the NFL.
Paris Johnson, yeah.
So Skaronski's Northwestern kid, super intelligent and pretty much the most polished guy in that group.
Mm-hmm.
Minus the short arms.
How Not To on YouTube says what I think. Skaronski just looks like a guard. And so that's why we were talking about, like, it looks like with what the Titans have done early in free agency, they've given themselves options there. And so I just pulled up Titans depth chart from ourlads.com, which I love that site. And this is how they
What do you go to for that? Our Lads?
Yeah, OUR, ourlads.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's great for quick depth charts.
Yeah.
And they constantly update it. Now,
Especially
this is
when we're talking to Coach Sale.
Yes.
He put me on that a little while ago.
So this is how they have the current Titans offensive line, right? And people that we talk to say Dillard is the left tackle, like he's a left tackle. Because he does have some experience playing inside too.
Right.
But if he's the left tackle, then you're looking at if you've got a chance to get
he can play
Skaronski.
guard.
Yeah, but the people that I've talked to say tackle. He's going to play tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you're looking at Skaronski and he's there, then maybe he's the left tackle. But this is how ourlads.com has the Titans depth chart right now in terms of starting offensive line. Ready? Left tackle, Andre Dillard.
Mm-hmm.
Left guard, Daniel Brunskill, which I was thinking right guard, but they've got him at left guard. Aaron Brewer slides inside the center. Dylan Radin's at right guard. I keep forgetting about Dylan Radin.
I was going to say that, yep.
And then NPF at right tackle. And there'll probably be some other – obviously there'll be other additions.
Right.
They're going to draft at least 2, I would think.
I like that. If I could get one more top-notch guy that you know is going to be a piece for an 8-10-year guy, like a Skaronski or the young man out of Georgia, Broderick Jones, someone like that. That could be a piece. Hey, I'm all for – I don't want to go to free agency. I like this.
But see, now all of a sudden, when we kind of dig in, and this is what I said earlier this week, I think, or last week, the Titans have given themselves, some options now with what they've done. They've gone younger. They might not be the big names, or, you're looking at a Dillard who suffered a couple injuries, but and just flat out got beat out, I think, for the position. But then you look at what he can bring and you say, okay, well, the Titans have done some things on that line to help. So that means maybe they've opened things up to be able to do a couple of things at 11.
Cousin Roger with a really good, the beginning of Major League, when they're like, who are these guys, that kind of thing. He's got a great comment about the Titans that reminds me of that. He said, I
never heard of half of these guys.
Yep.
I can't wait until game 1 just to see what this mess turns into.
But you know what I love about it? I love being able to have depth in the iron sharpening iron and you learning from them. Like, that's the only question going into the preseason if you go get these guys. Who's the veteran in that bunch to help lead the guys?
Yeah,
Aaron Brewer.
And
why are you looking at me like that?
I know he's the veteran, air quotations, but
I know, but if you're moving him, first of all, he's a dog.
He is a dog.
No question.
Remember
He's a dog. It's not his fault. He's too small.
No question.
He's too small. That's it. But that is mitigated with a move to center. And if I like that move. You wouldn't know because you've never been the small, underdog kind of thing. But if you're the undersized athlete who's always been told,
that's kind of
you're too short to play volleyball. You're
I'm
never going to make.
Babs.
You got that chip on your shoulder. It makes you a different mentality. It's the Mike Vrabel tougher than a $2 steak comment. For me, I'm okay with that stepping in as a leader if you're not getting your butt beat on the line because you're too small all the time. And if you're at center, maybe you're not.
I love that. I just would love to have, Coach Mack said when he was walking off, Ben Jones, if he could come back and be some sort of
mentor,
special, assistant to lineman coach. You gotta have another. It's nothing like being able to come in. You're just talking about it. If I can sit in here and shadow I'm gonna pick up on something because of the experience that he has. Even if he's not even teaching me, I just gotta watch him. You know what I'm saying? So here's a guy out of the game like a Ben Jones, even LaJuan. Imagine if they could be back around in the preseason and just pointing at different things, man. You need that, man, because that's a young group. What's the oldest? 3 years, maybe? Brewer?
Yeah. I honestly tell people that, like, people that come in here and watch what we do, like, don't really watch what I do because I do it differently than anybody else. And it took Don a long time to get used to me. But Cousin Danny said, honestly, not a bad O-line there.
Phenomenal.
Getting Daly out of the mix really brings the whole group up.
Just so
wow.
Wow.
Well, that ain't saying much. But now he's going to do 2 years in Arizona. What are they smoking?
Kyler Murray back.
We're going to go down with more Mel Kiper when we come back. Cut 2 from Mel Kiper. We'll talk about the Titans free agency pickups and how they have opened the door for them at 11 to go many different directions. So we'll do that when we come back. Really appreciate you guys listening, man. Tell everybody about the show and about the station. We thank you for lifting us up, and we'll be right back.
Yes. I want to talk to you about my friends at Two Rivers Ford. They have been around for 40 years now. How about that? 40 years. Yes, they're celebrating their 40th anniversary as a local business right here in Middle Tennessee. Opened the doors back in 1983. And they've always been a big part of this community. They're awesome. A big part of the zone right here, a part of local sports, a part of local charities. Anytime I have done campaigns and raised money for a local charity, John Barker at Two Rivers Ford has come up huge for my campaigns. Always. If you're from Nashville, obviously you know this. But if you are new to town, maybe you don't know what they're all about. And I'm going to tell you. Honesty, integrity, that's the big part of their business for 40 years. That's why they've been around for 40 years. And so you know that. What you see is what you get, too. Non-commissioned salespeople, there's no pressure. They're just there to help you. They love their job. They're friendly. They're nice. It's so refreshing. And then they have great prices. They always sell below MSRP on all of their non-specialty new Ford. So if you're new to town, Two Rivers Ford, congratulate them on 40 years, 40 great years here in this market. They are loving every minute of this ride, and they are excited for the next 40. They want to tell all their customers and their repeat customers, thank you for being a part of the Two Rivers Ford family since 1983. If you're not, go see what they can do to help you out. Two Rivers Ford, powered by Ford, driven by people.
Buddy Allen Carpet One, they are your flooring experts. And here's another thing. They are a local company. The showroom, the spectacular showroom, is in Donaldson. You can check out all the products they have there, 2405 Lebanon Pike. Locally owned and operated by the Allen family for more than 55 years. Zach, Jenna, and Judson Allen are brothers and sister. And I've known them for a long, long time. They're awesome people, and they really care about doing a great job for you, and that's exactly what will happen. They are in the store every day. They'll be there for every bit of your project, and they'll be there through the installation as well. Free in-home measures and estimates, 2405 Lebanon Pike in Donaldson, 615-883-3289, BuddyAllenCarpet1.com. 3HL 1045 The Zone. That is the Bet the Board podcast theme song. When you listen to Bet the Board podcast, this week you'll hear Ron Slay. I don't know when it drops.
It should be
I think it's tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I knew what the football schedule was. I don't know what they're doing with basketball, but I usually check in. Yeah, I guess probably tonight. I don't know. We'll ask Todd in about 7 minutes.
Okay.
In the meantime.
In between time.
Thank you.
Good job.
Peace.
I don't know how Blaine does that.
I don't know. I don't either.
I always
don't know.
try
He
to
got it down.
imitate it.
I love that.
No, I can do that.
On the road again.
But like, how does he do that?
Yeah, the breaking news sound.
I'm gonna have to get him to teach me tomorrow.
He can roll his tongue. I think Hunt can do it.
Like that?
I can't do it.
But it's the BBD.
No, it's the
Yeah, whenever I'm reading a book to my kid and it's a G and then a letter and then the letter R, I always roll my tongue like green.
rolling.
Mel Kiper's rolling.
never
We've
do that.
all been talking about like the free agency. Like Rand Carthon, I think sneakily had. Is that a word? Sneakily. That's a new
Yes,
free
that's the
agent
most
word.
definitely.
Sneakily had a good early portion of the free
I
agency
definitely use
process. And Coach Mack initially said, "Look, two things. One, get out of cap jail, which he did, and number two, numbers at positions where you need numbers."
Mm-hmm.
And I think he got some players too, dude.
I don't know.
You think?
Here we go.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me
Thanks,
just
Babs.
wet blanket this
Yeah,
real quick.
I mean,
Hold
that's,
on.
you
that's
did.
your role sometimes. Titans free agency pickups have opened the door for them at 11 to go many different directions, says Mel Kiper.
What they did in free agency, bringing in an Andre Dillard, how does he factor in? He was kind of a disappointment. Had some injuries in Philadelphia. Was a former first-round pick. That was the same year they got Miles Sanders. Remember, they passed on Josh Jacobs to take Andre Dillard, then got Miles Sanders in the second round. And he played some guard this year, so he can be left tackle guard. So he brings some versatility there. They brought in Arden Key, who had a decent year off the edge for Jacksonville. Brunskill on the offensive line can be a guard. They added the other corner, a veteran, a linebacker. So they've done some things, a couple linebackers, and they also have Chance Campbell coming off the injury. So you look at where they are right now. They have done some things in free agency that will allow them, I think, we're at 11 to just take the best available player. They don't have to go O-line like we thought. They could look for a pass rusher. And an interesting kid's Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech. The foot injury later in the year. He had some sack production. They dropped him in coverage sometimes when I thought he should be attacking the quarterback. He's a little up and down. Didn't always take over games like his talent indicated he should, but he's the kind of guy who figures to go in the middle of the first round.
What?
I'm going to go with Babsy's situation. I don't like the injury coming into this at that spot. That's one.
Not
Two,
when you're a raw talent.
Yeah, and then, like, I don't need to move a guy up the board if he's a mid-round talent. You feel what I'm saying? If that's the best
You're
available.
talking about Tyree Wilson.
Tyree Wilson, yeah, to what he said. Yeah, like, and I also believe,
I would stay away from him.
Yeah, and like,
I
gotta
like him.
I got to be on board. You saw him.
Yes. I chatted with him.
What's
I
our
worked
guy?
a game.
What's our guy's name that came from the Colts that we got, the lineman? Him and Big Jeff meshed so well.
Danico
Autry. So if you got him in that situation,
hates the Colts.
Right.
Arden Key, by the way, talking about how much he hates the Jaguars.
I love that.
We're just picking up guys that hate other members of the.
And you know what
division.
their output is when they play them? Oh, phenomenal. So yeah, bring them on in. But I'm on board with this on lineman, man. I'm sorry. Like, if first available for a guy like a Nolan Smith or Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, yeah, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, because in Kuiper's mock, he has Nolan Smith still there at 12. There's no way I pass him to go to Tyree Wilson.
That's all I'm saying.
No.
You know,
There's too many question marks with Wilson.
Yeah.
No.
All right, which wide receiver does Mel Kiper think have the best on-field speed?
The quickest guy is Zay Flowers to me out of Boston College. He's electric with the ball in his hands. People say he has these drops. I don't see them. I've watched a lot of Zay Flowers. I saw a couple, but nothing was on him. Ball was not perfect, and he was trying to run before the catch. I don't see that. I think his hands are really good. He's a great kid. I think the guys that play fast, I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is deceptive. Very deceptive in the way he's smooth, and I think he lulls some guys when they're taking angles after the catch into a false sense of security there. I think when you look at Josh Downs to me at North Carolina, really quick slot guy, really like him in the second round. I think you look at Cedric Tillman. He doesn't run great, but I tell you what, as a number 2 receiver, he will go get the ball in traffic. He'll make the tough catch. I think Tank Dell from Houston's a very underrated slot guy. Love him as a punt returner. Love the way he attacked the football. He's got to eliminate some of the focus drops at Houston that he had.
I love Mel Kiper's like quirky, weird voice.
Yeah. Things we had and not like, yeah.
Somebody said he sounds like a meth head on Breaking Bad.
That was a good comparison right there.
I can't compare that. I haven't seen that, but
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Thanks, Wet Blanket.
Wah, Debbie Downer. We need that audio.
Yeah.
Well, they're okay.
I'm sorry. Can't compare it.
There's
I
that.
haven't seen it.
Let's get one more Mel Kiper little audio piece, cut 5. Does he think Hendon Hooker will end up being a first-round draft pick? How about that?
I never say never, because I've been shocked before. I'm not going to project them to go in the first. I'm not going to have a mock draft for them in the first. I'm going to I have right now a second, third round grade on Hendon Hooker. You say, why the third? Because of the injury, the durability. He's had a couple injuries. He was hurt this year. He's going to be 25 years of age. Played in a quarterback-friendly offense at Tennessee with some really good receivers like Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman and Brew McCoy. And some good offensive linemen. Darnell Wright did a great job neutralizing Will Anderson Jr. this year. So I think he could go second round, at worst probably third round.
It's so funny, man, being through this process before on the basketball side of it, and then sitting in here how people analyze you.
Yeah.
Like, what does quarterback-friendly offense? What is like? what
does that even mean?
Yeah, if I'm going to go get a quarterback, guess what? My offense is going to be tailored to a quarterback-friendly as well.
But here's the problem in the NFL. There are a lot of coaches that have such big egos. They're like, you're running my offense.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
That's why Washington went after Albert Haynesworth. Titans had perfect fit in a 4-3 defensive tackle.
Yep.
Washington runs a 3-4. Albert told us. He's like, I get there, and they're not asking me to go be disruptive.
Yep.
They're asking me to take
Clog
up offensive
holes.
linemen and clog holes. Yeah. And
Yep.
it just didn't fit. But they're like, we're going to take this player, and we're going to put him in our system.
And but to say that though,
But you are speaking from a logical perspective,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And some coaches do it.
right.
Some coaches do it.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of coaches out there that have
I totally
these
agree.
tremendous egos.
I totally agree. I just think when you talk about I have him as a second round, third round, that's high off of an ACL. That is high coming off of an injury. You're like, if he has that type of talent, that means he really has first round talent.
So when was it? Beginning of November? So December, January, February, March, April, May. He'll be back for camp.
That's it. It's a 6
He'll be back for
6
camp.
months deal in 2003. We're in 2023.
I keep thinking, with regard to Hendon Hooker, I think what Coach Mack said is right, because what he says is always right. But he said without the injury, he's maybe in that best 2 or 3 in this class quarterback. So I keep thinking, watch the teams that have a quarterback on like a 1 or 2 year deal.
Yeah.
That can basically redshirt him and then move on.
I can't wait to see what he does.
And then they will feel like by that point, then they've got one of the best quarterbacks in the draft.
Those are the two most intriguing quarterbacks in this draft to me. Hendon Hooker to see what he becomes, and Anthony Richardson. I can't wait to see him.
Todd Furman is intriguing. He's in Vegas. Todd, did Slay wake up and do the podcast this morning?
Slay not only woke up, Brent, he brought the A game. So clearly he was brimming with a little bit of guilt for not being able to understand the difference between AM and PM last week. But my man brought the heat today, an outstanding segment talking about all things SEC. Told a couple of good stories as well, and the feedback has been pouring in all of the positive variety. So thank you, Slay, for taking time out of your morning and putting the pancakes to the side at least for a few minutes.
So he interrupted me, him and Payne, while I was eating my pancakes, and y'all know how I feel about my pancakes. So.
Well, I mean, the one thing I found out, though, Brent, you learn things about people that you've talked with for an extended period of time. Slay wasn't eating the old buttermilk pancakes and all of that. It was keto syrup. It was protein pancakes. Yeah. The man is on a mission to continue his quest to get himself back in playing shape and rattle off that 4.6 or 4.7 he promised It's about 8-9 years ago, whatever it was.
Pancakes are
Keep bringing
sneaky,
this up.
like good, where you can get the protein pancakes, and that's a great energy source.
It's serious.
For sure.
There's a lot of good ones out there. I mean, Kodiak cakes, some other ones. I mean, you got to try and mix it up and take full advantage here. I mean, you don't keep my pool physique by shoving your gullet full of the good old buttermilk variety.
Dude, you left Vegas pool season a long time ago, bro.
There's no doubt. I age myself out, and it's a sobering reality when I walk around and realize some of the kids that are coming to Vegas are young enough to be my kids if I was a teen parent. That was the most sobering reality for me.
All right, you're an MTV show now.
Yeah.
At Todd Furman, Bet the Board podcast. Todd Furman, Payne Insider, and Ron Slade this week. When does it drop? About the you're talking about the Sweet 16, I guess.
Yeah, it's already up. We dropped it this morning about 2 hours after we finished recording. So we broke down the 3 SEC games in great detail with Slay. He talked about his beloved Volunteers and how it's going to be a massive disappointment if they don't win the national championship. Me, of course, paraphrasing, not necessarily speaking in reality. And we covered the other 5 games the way Payne and I always do. So all 8 games broken down side and total.
All right, so what do you think about, let's start there, Tennessee and Florida Atlantic. What do you think?
You know, when you look at this game and try and figure out some of the capabilities there, I just think Tennessee is too big, too physical, and too veteran-laden to lose this game. Numbers-wise, I think it's a fair reflection just because I don't feel comfortable laying points with Tennessee against an opponent that could get hot from the outside and has some proficiency to be able to make the deep ball. We know Tennessee plays one style, and that style has been extremely successful for them. It was on full display last week against Duke, where they were undervalued in the betting market, being bet from a pick'em out to a 3.5-point dog. I like the game under the total, especially early on. I think it can be difficult for these teams to adjust to that shooting venue, and I don't think FAU in the first 20 minutes is going to be ready to rumble with Tennessee. So I like the first half under there if I'm making a bet in that game.
Your boy Alan Bell said the same thing yesterday.
Sure did. And he gave you a whole lot of love. We had to tell him, don't talk about Todd Father like that, man. He don't deserve that much.
He said you're the best in the business.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It's good to know that the checks I'm sending Alan each week, he's cashing and able to put some food on the table. So, Alan, if you're out there listening, buddy, I appreciate the love.
I'm sure he is. All right, let's stay in the SEC. Arkansas and UConn. UConn a favorite now to get to the Final Four. What do you think about it?
I think this is one of the toughest games to try and assess when you're looking at all 8 Sweet 16 matchups here. We did see a little bit of money come in initially on Arkansas, taking it down to 3.5. But earlier today, a very influential betting group came in with support for UConn, and they took that number from 3.5 up to 4, where we currently sit. Haven't seen a lot of movement on the total. That number sits at 140, but Slate broke it down perfectly. It's a question of what Arkansas is going to get from Nick Smith. If they get the player that they had against Kansas, who only logged 16 minutes, not going to be enough to get it done. They're going to need their big bodies to try and slow down Sonogo on the inside. And for all the love that the Arkansas fan base shows me over the last couple of years since I said Chris Beard was going to coach circles around Coach Musselman, I think Arkansas is built to try and win this game again as a 4-point underdog and move on to yet another Elite Eight to take on the winner of UCLA Gonzaga.
Like that.
Speaking of that matchup, what about that? UCLA, the 2 seed, Gonzaga, the 3 seed, UCLA by 1.5.
A little bit of money earlier today has come in on the Zags, 2 down to 1.5, and I think the biggest storyline here to follow when you're trying to figure out a handicapping angle will be the health of Singleton. If UCLA had Jalen Clark out there, there's no doubt in my mind that they could have made a case to be a 1 seed and would have been my pick to come out of the region. I just wonder about the lack of depth. If Singleton re-aggravates the ankle injury, it could cause some big problems. But when you look at Gonzaga, for all the things this team does well on the offensive end, they leave a lot to be desired defensively. And it won't be lost for Mick Cronin and some of the guys that are still on the roster from that Final Four loss where they came up just short 93-90 to try and get a little bit of revenge here. If the number continues to leak down, for me, it's UCLA or pass. Interesting, though, when you look at this total at 146, it suggests more that it'll be played at UCLA's pace and tempo. And when you look at Gonzaga, the teams that have given them problems this year, St. Mary's, they operate in the half court. Loyola Marymount, they operate in the half court. And there's a couple others on their schedule. I just think UCLA is too physical. And if they can neutralize Drew Timme even a little bit, Gonzaga doesn't have enough depth scoring.
When we're talking about betting and you're looking at locks, there are no locks. But if you
we go, Slate. Hey, it took how long? wrong. Mark this date down. It is 2:37 out here on the West Coast. 4:37 Central Time, March 22nd, 2023. Slay finally admitted, after becoming a board member, there's no such thing as a lock in sports betting. It's all come full circle, and I should call us a walk-off and pull a Costanza and just shut this segment down before it gets off the rails.
Costanza.
Hey, man,
So excited.
once you get on the board, man, you know, you look at things a little bit differently. But let me say this. If you were going to bet on someone, Preston Magic run out in this Creighton matchup?
Yeah, you know, I look at this one, and I think what's interesting about Creighton, Slay, is that they're so good defensively, and that doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, that was always one of the knocks about Greg McDermott coach teams. They weren't tough enough defensively. They could score with the best teams, but when they stepped up in class, it was why they had such futility in the NCAA tournament. But from a defensive efficiency standpoint, I mean, this team is underseeded as a 6. You look at the struggles they had early on in Big East play, and if you take out, you know, that 5 or 6 game sample size where they were dealing with some injuries, they could have been a 2 or 3 seed and probably much more deserving of the resume profile than a team like Xavier from their own conference. Numbers a little bit rich, though. You're not stealing anything. The price has been bet from 9 to 10, and you're looking at this being the most public underdog here with the Princeton Tigers. Again, I think Creighton going to be very comfortable to play in the half court. I think Princeton will struggle, and this could take a little bit of a feeling out process. So I like this game under the total early. I'd lean ever so slightly towards Creighton, but might be more inclined to look for a live number if I could get the Blue Jays somewhere around -7.
Yeah, because 9.5 is a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I love that Creighton team, too. Slay.
Brandon Miller and the Alabama Crimson Tide in San Diego State.
They get the Aztecs, and the Aztecs are going to find this game as a little bit of a jolt to the system. We're not talking about playing College of Charleston or my namesake in Fuhrman like they had a dispatch in the round of 32. Alabama defensively, again, I mean, going to make it difficult for an Aztec team that doesn't have a lot of individual shot creators. I mean, Matthew Bradley, probably the best guy on the floor there, but they don't deal with SEC athletes on a game-in, game-out basis. And when you look at San Diego State's dominance in the Mountain West, a lot of that becomes just because they recruit a different caliber of dude. They defend tenaciously. They contest shots. And I understand why a lot of people are trying to make a case for the underdog here, but this number is big for a reason. And the fact that I can get Alabama almost feels like a discount at 7.5, knowing that they shot the ball so poorly last week against Maryland, a semblance of positive regression here. I think they can run away and hide and win this game by double digits.
Wow.
Is there another game you like that we haven't hit on?
Didn't we hit on all 8, or at least I think we got close? No, Michigan State, Kansas State. I think this game is fascinating because, you know, not a lot of us expected either of these teams to be here. Number did get out to 2. We saw a little bit of money come in on Kansas State. Tough to adjust with an earlier tip-off, 6:30 Eastern at Madison Square Garden. We've seen some of the comments from the coaches talking about how slick the balls were, how overinflated. I'm interested to see if that changes some of the scoring out there, but an interesting nugget when you try and encapsulate what we saw through the first 4 days of the tournament. The rash of unders dominated on Thursday and Friday, and this year right now is on track to feature the worst three-point shooting in the history of the NCAA tournament, with teams making just 31.2% from deep through the first 2 rounds. Last year actually broke the record, and that was a little bit better at 31.8%. But the one thing, when you get deeper into the tournament, the intensity cranks up, the nerves and all of that. So if shots aren't going down, we could see some unders come home to roost, knowing that a lot of these teams more than capable taking care of the ball in the defensive end.
You know what the funny thing about doing Bet the Board podcast was?
What?
That you were the best dressed jumping on the show, and you still didn't get to see Payne Insider's face when we recorded on Skype early this morning?
Yeah, that too. He's like, what's that guy from Usual Suspects?
Kaiser Sose?
Yeah, that's how Payne is. Payne is like Kaiser Sose, dog. Like, you just can't never find him or never see him. It's
we
weird.
went to Tin Roof with these guys. He's in there in aviators.
And I don't even know if he was really there. I don't know if that was really him. We never really got to see if it was him. All we know is it was Todd.
He loved your college stories that you can't tell.
He did. This is my thing, though. I like numbers, guys, and analytics and all that is cool. But I love when I talk about the game and it adds up, and I got to see that today. So that was really, really cool because I can't
wait to listen.
I'm gonna see what I see, and eye test type of guy. So appreciate that, Todd Furman.
Of course. Hey, thanks for coming on. And I think, Slay, you bring up an excellent point, and it's one of the things that we talk about all the time in sports betting, where if you can find the intersection of the eye test and the metrics matching up and figuring out the little nuances there, whether it's college basketball, college football, the NFL, or any of the other sports that are out there, that's where you find the best way to be able to make money, because there are a variety of bettors that just bet off of what they see with their eyes. There are a ton of bettors who just look at teams as numbers on a spreadsheet, and you can have tremendous amount of success doing both of those if you trust your process and you're putting in the time. But when you find that perfect intersection of both and go, you know what, the eye test matches up with the metrics, the betting market doesn't reflect that, well, that's the time to try and jump in with both feet and take a little bit more liability on a game or two when all things line up together.
All right, check out the Bet the Board podcast, rate, review, subscribe, download it, and listen to Slay Dog break down the SEC and Todd Furman and Payne Insider and the whole family. Thank you, Todd. Good stuff.
Hey, real quick on the way out.
Oh, John, you're there on a Wednesday. I wasn't sure if you were there, if it was your body double that was filling in. Didn't hear you this whole block, so go ahead.
Lamar Jackson, odds he'll be a Tennessee Titan. Where are you?
I mean, I know Titans fans would love that, but quite frankly, they won't be happy with my answer. If you're going through a rebuild, tear it all down and build it back up. The last thing you want to do is handcuff yourself with a $50 million annual salary to a quarterback like Lamar Jackson when you don't have the pieces on the roster to surround him. You guys were just talking about Hendon Hooker coming in. I mean, it doesn't hurt if Hendon Hooker continues to slide in the draft and you allow him to rehab for a year in the system and it's a low-risk pick there in that particular spot. Maybe that's the kind of player that you look for in the Titans. You know you're not going to win this season, and while it's hard for fans to hear that, there's nothing worse than being stuck in NFL purgatory. Either be the best and find that franchise quarterback, or be at the bottom, draft in the top 5 for a couple of years, and then have something to crow about, a couple of years down the road.
Yep, we always talk about that in the socialistic NFL system. All right,
Good
Todd,
stuff.
you'd be surprised to know we brought Lamar Jackson up, and most people that we heard from do not want him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, it's a credit to the Titans fan base. I mean, I know Kevin Byard, Don, you put out that poll the other day, and I know we're going long here, so I apologize. It's a question of a premium position. If no one else is willing to pay a guy $14 million like the Titans are, why would you not cut him and try and bring him back on a restructured deal to figure things out? And I think that's always the hardest part, because fans fall in love with certain players, and oftentimes that's not consistent with doing things the right way for the franchise or being able to win long term. Just ask Philly fans who sat on players like Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins and company long after that nostalgic World Series run was there, and it took them a long, long time to get back to the World Series because they didn't cut bait early enough.
See you, Todd.
Be good, guys.
Thanks, Furman.
All right, tough, Father.
I actually wrote down I had Furman winning against Virginia, and I wrote it Fuhrman.
That's good.
Because
I didn't mean to, but I just did.
It worked.
All right, when we come back, Dusty May, you know who he is? Florida Atlantic basketball coach, explaining his comments on Australian rugby rules.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that's next. Reach out 1045 this home.
hey,
Well, I'm sorry, Babsy.
I'm starting. Speaking of being an item, maybe your AC unit should be an item with Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, because it's going to get warm. I think tomorrow, right? Thursday, tomorrow's going to be like 76. And maybe you knew over the summer that your AC unit was on the fritz. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, call them now, like today.
And
get them to help you.
That's right, Babs. You're hitting it right on the head. Now, let me add to this. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is a proud Rude Pro partner and a Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. This is a family. You hear me? Family-owned business, and they do act like family. They treat you as family. So once you lock in, they even got a deal for you. You can get it done right now. You need a new unit, get it done. 18 months of no payments. You heard us right. No payments until August of 2024. Don't get much better than that. And yes, we're not lying to you. We're telling you the truth. All you got to do is hit springhillac.com. What you got to do, Babsy?
Call them.
Tricky. 3HL 1045 The Zone. At 3HL 1045 on Twitter. Give us a follow there. Kind of curly. Okay. Yeah. All right, Hunk. Went to her house.
Tricky.
And then
It's tricky.
just let it go.
It's tricky.
It's tricky.
Tricky for when you need to turn it down.
He's got Ecky Bop in there, too. I don't know what's going on.
Bopping?
I'm telling you. This man right over here, it's like a ventriloquist dummy just right directly beside me.
He's waiting on you.
On my lap.
Don't put your hand up his
I
back.
think he's about to tell me what he wants for Christmas.
He was in the corner over here for a while. I kept forgetting he was there. And then we told him to go learn your job. We literally told him that. Go learn how to do what Hunk does.
Yep.
Oh, so you're the ones that sent him in here. I just found out he wants a teddy bear for Christmas. He thinks I'm Santa Claus. He's on my lap.
In all seriousness, Ecky Bop needs to learn how to run the board. He does. I mean, as many things as you can learn how to do, be a utility player.
Not to mention, Hunk's about to have a baby, and there's no telling when he's going to have to get out of here.
That's right.
Bambino.
What did we talk about yesterday with the World Baseball Classic? We spent an entire segment on the World Baseball Classic, and I thought we had fun with it, and it was, pretty cool. But we talked about what if Ohtani ends up in the ninth inning
on the mound
with the game on the line.
Show enough
against the best player in baseball.
And he brought it.
It was beautiful.
He brought it.
He brought it.
Seriously, there are some movies that don't even have endings like that.
Well, it should have ended the other way with a game-tying homer.
I mean, like it wasn't just we talked about it. Like through the game, everybody was like, "Okay, Ohtani's going to the bullpen. Yeah. He's warming up. All right, Trout's supposed to bat third this inning."
Well, and Trout batted in the seventh, and then I started thinking, okay, if they get one hit in the eighth and one hit in the ninth, I don't know. I think everybody was doing the math and just wanted to see that drama.
Yeah.
Speaking of drama, Dusty May, and when coaches. It's Florida Atlantic basketball coach. They play Tennessee Thursday at 8 o'clock. You can catch it right here
tomorrow.
on 104.5 The Zone. It is tomorrow.
That's right.
Doesn't that feel weird?
Yeah. I mean,
don't bring it.
What's the saying? Days go slow, years go fast?
Sure.
Yeah. No, it's true. Sure. Well, weeks, especially doing what we do. Goodness. But anyway, so when coaches start talking like this, like complaining about the physicality of a team they're about to play and like we're 330th in the country in height, that makes me wonder like if he feels good about the matchup or not. And to me, it makes me think he doesn't. So he's trying to find different advantages. I don't know. But he said the other day that they were watching tape on Australian rugby football, which isn't a thing, which drove me crazy.
I know. And I'm like, really?
Australian rules
so
football
small.
or rugby.
Such a small, whatever.
Or rugby, yeah.
Whatever.
They're similar.
Yep. It's all the same thing. Whatever.
It's not.
Pabst wants to be the same thing.
I'm just messing with you. Carry
it's
on.
like how we call like various portions of the country, people will call pop or soda. And in the South, we call everything Coke. What kind of Coke do you want? Sprite? Okay.
I was like cold drink.
But here's Dusty May explaining his comments on what he meant, Tennessee and Australian rugby rules.
I know that comment wasn't well received. It was a joke and jest. And to me, physicality, Australian rule, it was the most physical thing that I could think of on the top of my head. But that's a compliment to Coach Barnes and his program. I wish people said that about us, that they were physical, they were gritty, they brought people into the mud.
Challenging his team.
When I played, I was accused of fouling about 5 to 10 times per possession, and I felt like I never fouled. So I appreciate that brand of basketball. It's not how we play because we're not built for it per se. We don't have the size and mass that they have, but we do feel like we're very physical. I think we're 330th in height, and we're one of the better rebounding teams in the country. So I know that wasn't well received by Vol Nation, but it was a joke, but it was a compliment as well.
Is anything ever received well by Vol Nation?
Paying attention to Vol Nation as a coach in the March Madness tournament in the Sweet 16.
That means he pays attention to social media because Vol Nation went at him.
Wow.
I mean,
Don, Vol Nation will go at you, won't they?
Yeah. You guys remember when I quote tweeted something about Hendon Hooker?
Yes.
And it automatically changed it. My autocorrect changed it to what? Henson Hooker, I think?
Yeah, it was something. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Seriously. Like Tennessee fans came after me. I'm like, do you really think that I don't know your quarterback's name? Like, I've covered the kid since he got to Tennessee. I've worked games, But I mean, that one sees it and they, put it on the Facebook page, and then Vol Twitter gets a hold of you,
It's
and it's
on
like
then.
you are dead.
It's on.
Yeah.
It's on.
Like Donkey Kong. All right, David Long.
It's funny.
He's in Miami now. He had a commenter.
Is that right?
About Vrabel calling him out. That's next. Straight H.L. 104.5.
Did you know that about 80% of new home buyers don't ever shop around for the best mortgage loan? That is a big mistake. Huge, massive, big. Loan Pronto can help you out there. It was started by a guy who said, you know what, there needs to be an easier way. There has to be a better way to where you won't be buried in the paperwork. Roger Moore is the owner and the founder of Loan Pronto. So he made it to where there's a quicker process, and it starts all digitally at loanpronto.com. He simplified the process, and the best part is their ability to get you, the consumer, the lowest rate. All electronic, all digital, no extra fees. I redid my mortgage with Loan Pronto a while ago and got money out, used the equity in my home in order to do a home improvement project. And Loan Pronto was amazing in that entire process. They can help you out as well. Plus, you can ask about their amazing VA loan program as well. They have that going on. LoanPronto.com if you want more information. 615-499-5780 is their number. And right now, they have an all-new Express Equity line of credit program. Definitely don't have to do a full home refi. They can help you out and just let you get a portion, utilize a portion of the equity that you have in your home. LoanPronto.com, 615-499-5780, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Good evening from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Joe Hunk. We are about 56 minutes away from Vanderbilt and UAB in the next round of the NIT. The winner of this game tonight will be heading to Vegas for the NIT semifinals. Utah Valley or Cincinnati. That is who the winner of tonight's game between Vandy and UAB will be facing. The Jets, they've been working today. They may not have Aaron Rodgers, but at least they're trying to get him some weapons. They just signed wide receiver Mecole Hardman to a 1-year, $6.5 million deal. They also just completed a trade with the Browns where they sent wide receiver Elijah Moore, who is wanting out anyway, to the Browns, and they're getting a second-round pick from the Browns to also add more weapons. Also, apparently, according to many sources, they are now also negotiating with Odell Beckham Jr. The Raiders have themselves a new tight end, and he is a former Titan. That would be Austin Hooper. For all your foundation requests or your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Balls, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Tell 104.5 The Zone. What up, Nashville? Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. The rain has stopped.
Good.
Now it's going to get warm. It's supposed to be nice this weekend, right? Right, Babs?
Yeah.
Didn't you say?
Well, no, you've got thunderstorms on Friday.
Oh, Friday, severe weather.
Yes. Yeah. I know you're on it. No, it's going to be nice tomorrow.
I told you, I lost interest in the weather when we didn't have much snow this year.
Shame on this weather.
Like, we didn't even have any opportunities.
High tomorrow is going to be 81 Friday. The high is 78, and then we're back in the 60s.
So that Friday storm is a big...
But Saturday's supposed to be nice, right?
Oh, it's going to be beautiful. It's just going to be in the 60s.
It's going to be beautiful. Just in the 60s is beautiful, yeah. What you want, hot baths?
I want 75, 80.
No, that's too
Okay,
that's too
move
hot.
to San Diego, except don't, because we don't want to lose you.
Yeah, first of all, that's too hot, Babs.
I can't live out there.
So Blaine went to San Diego.
California people.
Blaine went to San Diego, and
It's too cold at night out there.
They had like a 500-year flood in San Diego. So then Blaine came back, and then we had the 500-year flood.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he brought it with him in his pocket. She is Dawn Davenport.
Hi.
Hi.
That's Bunk. That's Bunk. Twitch, please.
Happy hump day to you, people.
Did you say happy hump day?
Yeah, isn't it Wednesday?
National Hunk Day?
No, hump.
I like his
Humpy
version
hump,
better.
hump. Humpity hump.
What was I going to say? I
What
was
were
going to
you
say
gonna say,
something astute.
Ron Slay's here.
In the meantime,
In between time.
Peace.
he is Ron Slay.
I'm in the building. I'm in the building.
Hey, I'm in the building. Best believe I'm in the building. Better be ready. I'm in the building. Cars on the roof. Time for the show.
Yeah. Basketball is upon us, Euro.
Best believe I'm in the building.
Memorial Magic's supposed to be taking place tonight, too.
Best believe I'm in the building.
Vanderbilt and UAB over at Memorial Gym.
That's right. That's right.
Trip to Vegas on the line.
Man, that's a nice trip. That's a nice trip.
I'm still can't get over what they did to Michigan. That was Memorial Magic stuff.
Yeah, every bit of it's been all year. We've been
Down
able to sit all year.
8 with 58 seconds left, and they go on a 9-0 run to end it and win.
Mm-hmm.
Survive in advance.
That's the name of the game. Survive in advance. And they're an underdog at home.
Sweet 16 starts tomorrow. Can't wait. All of those games, in terms of point spreads, are tight. Like the biggest point spread is Tennessee at 5. Everything else is like 2.5, 2, 2.5, 3. The next day, a little bit more separation between some of the teams. But that UCLA Gonzaga game, man.
It's gonna be serious, Euro.
Yeah, 1.5 there. Philly Mike next up on 3HL. Philly Mike, what's up, buddy?
Philly Mike was happy.
All right, 3HL, what's going on?
How are you?
All right. That's how you do it. That's how Blaine does it, okay?
Well done.
Blaine is a rock star. So are you. What's up?
I want to agree with Big Ron the other day about rough play. As you guys know, I played in Philly in the mid-'70s for St. Joe's, and every Big Five game are games against Georgetown, St. John's, Providence, Boston College, Pittsburgh with Maurice Lucas and Norm Nixon and those guys. It was rough, man. I saw my first assault. It was on the basketball court, okay?
Anytime Mo Lucas involved, boy, yes, most definitely.
That's assault, brother. Yeah.
Hey, it was crazy. And you got to remember, guys, that there was only 2 officials back then. Okay?
Yep.
You had a guy underneath, so guys were getting mugged on the sidelines because, they couldn't see over there. So it was very rough back then. Today, the athletes are way better than we were back in the mid-'70s. So they have the advantage there. But we were tough. We ran plays. Since there was no three-point shot, you had to run some plays, a lot of picks, a lot of bumping and grinding back then. But it was just a battle, and you really had to be a dude back then to play. And it took me about a month. After the season was over, after we got bounced in the playoffs, it took me about a month for my body to get back to normal. So it was true, and I'm proud of the Vols, the way they played. And one last thing, Madison Square Garden. I had the opportunity to play there twice my freshman year against Fordham University and another one against Rutgers. And I have to disagree with Todd on this one. He said that the shooting may be off, but the sight lines are the best because the lights are directly over the court, and then the lights are dim or like half where the people are sitting. So it's perfect sight lines because look at all the records that have been broken there. Kobe had 81.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry. Michael had 55. Bernard King had 55. So you can easily see the baskets. And the cool thing about the Garden, guys, we ended up losing both games, but I did score, a couple baskets there. So I really feel like I am a very, very small part of Garden basketball history. Yeah. But when you walk through that tunnel, the first thing I said that came to my mind, well, actually 2 things. That Willis Reed walked through here, and he passed away yesterday.
Yes, he did.
He walked through here in 1970 and played on one leg and won the championship for the Knicks against the Lakers that had Chamberlain, West, and Baylor. Then the second thing I thought of was that Ali and Frazier both walked through that same tunnel a couple years earlier. I mean, the history, and when you walk back through there, the Vols and the other teams, you'll see big pictures. My favorite picture was Joe Frazier with that left hook, and you see Ali falling backwards. That's a great picture there. You see Willis Reed, his picture is there. You see Sinatra, you see Billy Joel, you see all the concerts and stuff there. So the place is magical, and there's no place like it, and I hope that the Vols have a great time there. But it was a great experience for me to play in the Garden, man.
Man, great stuff.
Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, bro. Really good. We mentioned David Long. So this was the original tweet from Teron Davenport. Mike Vrabel mentioned Christian Fulton and David Long Jr. as soft tissue injury repeat offenders. When he was asked how the Titans have had injuries piled up, said he wants them to find ways to avoid those soft tissue injuries. Marcel Louis Jacques asked apparently Dolphins linebacker David Long, telling us today he was taken aback by Vrabel's comments, said he is a, quote, first guy in, last guy out type of player who takes close care of his body.
Well, somebody got some wrong information somewhere.
What do you think about that?
I'm looking at it as the coach said this. No, this is what it is. And I got to combat that. I believe that's the reason why he ain't come back here.
Yeah, 2 years, $11 million. Like, you could have done something about that.
Yeah, like ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But we also said, like, coming into this situation, after it was said by Coach Vrabel, people react to this different. Players react to this differently. You can take it and be like, oh, okay, I got you. I'm going to show you, my man, and respond to it. Or you can say, that's how you feel about me? All right, I'm out. Peace. That's what's up. So I think we got to see. And then Christian Fulton, we got to see how he responds to it.
Yep, definitely. 615-737-1045 if you want in. Hold back. We'll do that in the last segment. Coming up next, Tom Crean, former Indiana and Marquette basketball coach. We'll do a deep dive into Tennessee Duke, get his take on how that all went down. But also take a look at the Sweet 16 in pretty good detail there with him. He's phenomenal.
I can't wait to get his take.
Yep, 3HL 1045 The Zone.
I would love for Hunk to be able to hit the announcement button right about now. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've done it. During the perfect time of the year, I told you during spring, baby oil season has arrived. And yes, an extra hour of daylight, warmer weather, spending more time outside, and also seeing Big Slay in spandex and baby oil. Yes, because my body has done a 180. Thank you, Awaken 180. And you can do the exact same too. You feeling a little funny when you walk past the mirror? You're not really confident? Your bones and your joints aching? Well, let's get that taken care of. As an athlete, I like to have a schedule planned out. You get a coach, people. A coach. Coach Sam, me and her talked today. And we kind of tweaked some things because I was like, man, I'm getting hungry. So she advised me to do something, and I'm doing it. And guess what, people? Weight is going to continue to fall off. 40, almost 40 pounds down. You need to schedule your Awaken 180 at-home consultation by calling 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com. Do your own 180, and you can ride with Big Slay, too.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Todd Davenport, Ron Slay.
Hey, yo!
Sweet 16 coming up tomorrow.
Yes.
Tennessee and Florida Atlantic at 8 o'clock. You can catch that game right here on 104.5 The Zone. Vol Network coverage begins at 7:30. We actually will be airing NCAA tournament games on the station. Like, we're out tomorrow at 5:30, out Friday at 5:30 as well, and we'll join games in progress.
Good job, Babsy. My girl on her water intake. Sorry, y'all.
Trying to be better.
2 jugs over here.
Oh, you've been doing your thing.
Oh, look, I just shot a 3 like Ron Slay.
No, he makes it.
Hey, listen, Slay's senior year, that 3-point percentage jumped way up.
Hey, man, letting that thing fly.
from the E in Tennessee.
That's right. That's right. Logo E, baby. Logo E. I ain't got to worry about them double and triple teams when you're shooting from way out there.
Buzz loved that, didn't he?
So guess what? We had a conversation about it, and they told me going into the season, I told them where I was going to shoot because they saw it in pickup. They was like watching it on the cameras. They're like, dude, you can't keep shooting that deep. I'm like, yes, I can. They're going to be doubling. So me and Coach Conroy went in there and watched it. Ed Conroy. That's right.
Yeah.
So we went and watched the tape, and he said, as long as you do, we watched Ray Allen, footage of about 30 minutes of Ray Allen. He said, every time Ray Allen shoots, he does a heel-toe thing. He says, as long as you do that, we ain't got a problem with it. I did it every time.
Really?
Yep. And I used to miss a lot when I didn't, so that's how I used to get it right. Yep. That's my story.
But if you missed threes, that didn't like stop you from shooting the next one, did it?
Oh no. I was getting at least 4 of them up a game.
Of course it did.
Yeah, I'm shooting 4 of them. That's Jim Harrigan.
Minimum.
Yeah, Jim Harrigan left me off a list. He got 6 of them. So, just saying, 5 of them went in.
He got 6 of them.
He did.
He left you off a list.
Yeah. Off his SEC list. So similar to what Coach Crean does. Coach Crean, they ask him about, give me these all SEC performers or whatever it may be, and he named 5 guys, and he named 6, and they just took the 5 that he named, the first 5, and I happen to be the 6th one.
Oh.
So that's all I needed going against Georgia.
So let me guess, you still give him crap about that?
No, I just gave him 33 and 13.
Speaking of 33 and 13.
Something light.
Speaking of Tom Crean, he joins us now. Talk some basketball. Sweet 16 starting up tomorrow, 3HL. Tom, what is up?
Yeah, I'm listening to Ron, and first off, you ought to explain to your listeners what heel toe is, because that you're talking about stepping in, right?
That's right.
Right, step in.
That's right, Coach.
Yeah, like that's so important. And the range, like you talking about range, that is like one of the differentiators in the tournament right now. I think it's one of the differentiators in college. Everybody talks about the line moving back has changed the percentages, and it takes time to get the percentages up. But no, it's people don't shoot the ball properly.
Exactly.
Made the percentages low because they don't step in. And when you really watch this tournament, teams that have had success that maybe are considered underdogs in it, like Princeton's a great example. Princeton shoots the ball quickly, and they shoot it with range. Like there's no wasted motion in their shot, and they have range. Like you're not developing. We put an NBA 3-point line down all the way back to Marquette. We put a 4-point line down when I was at Georgia that was 33 foot 8 inches, and not necessarily just for the shooting, but for the spacing. But I mean, if you look around the NBA, there's guys that are legitimately comfortable, and not just Dame Lillard and Steph Curry, that are like legitimately comfortable shooting from that range.
Yep.
And it's a huge thing. It really is.
So
I would have voted Ron all league if I'd have been in the coaching the SEC at that point. I guarantee that.
So I'm curious. You mentioned the shooting. Like from a coaching perspective, is it hard for you to watch some of these games sometimes when you see incorrect things happening?
Yeah, but it was hard at Georgia too because we just didn't shoot the ball. Seriously, we didn't shoot the ball. It's my own fault. We didn't shoot the ball the way we were close to shot it at Indiana and even Marquette. My teams at Indiana, 5 of the 9 years we were there, we were in the top 10 in percentage in 3-point percentage, and we never sniffed that at Georgia. And the bottom line is like you got to work. We work on shooting every day, but what happens is, guys, it's not always about taking bad shots. Sometimes you can take a good shot and you can take it badly because of what Ron just said. You don't step in.
Yep.
You don't follow through.
Yep.
Your release isn't there. You don't stick your landing. So is it hard for me to watch? Absolutely, because there's so many guys that don't understand when to deliver the ball, okay, like one dribble earlier, where to put the ball when they deliver it, how to really create drive and kick by attacking the basket, not dribbling the ball as much as driving the ball, and then getting guys open looks. And then it's so much how guys don't stick their landing, right? They land to the side. They don't follow through, so those kind of things. Yeah, it's really hard. It was hard all year on television watching that.
Yeah.
You want to help a guy, be better.
Yep.
Tom Crean with us on 3HL. My favorite player coach that I've watched in this tournament is Marquise Noel at Kansas State point guard. The little kid, as Coach Cal called him.
Did you think that was a slight, Coach?
No, not at all. It really was. That's just how John talks. I mean, and it's like, it's just there's no slight at all with that. I mean, that's if people know now. Can you look for one? You can look for a slight in anything, but I never saw that. And I mean, he's got Sevier Wheeler on his team. He's smaller than Marquise Noel. I mean, so I don't think he meant that disrespectful.
You think he was frustrated by that that performance?
No, I just think that's how he talks, right? I just think sometimes he refers to guys like that, and it's like it's in television. What's one of the worst things? And Ron doesn't do this, but I see this and it drives me nuts. Like the big guy or the big fella. What's the difference, right? Like that's so dumb, right? Like say his name, right? But I mean, again, I just think that's how John talks, and I wouldn't have thought twice about that if I was a coach on the other side. That wouldn't have fit, but I know John some, so I didn't think twice about that.
Yeah. Well, about that kid though, man, it's just phenomenal. And what I was thinking, I was talking to Slade during the game about this. Like you just don't see kids play point guard like that anymore. Where it's clear that he's worked on these like precision behind the back, like creative passes. Whereas most kids, I would think, you tell me differently, instead of working on that part of the game, they're in the gym shooting threes or something. I don't know.
Well, there's a couple of things. First off, people are going to underestimate him again, and he's going to end up in an NBA roster.
Yes.
And he might have to start as a third or second guard, but he's going to be playing. I mean, there's just too much. Being in television this year and watching all those games, one of the things I'll do is like chart the games and like, okay, how are they winning, right? Like, how do you stop these teams? And the thing about him, and there were very few teams that did a good job of this. Texas did a good job of this, I think, at Kansas State. Is what he wants you to do. He doesn't beat you with his shooting. He beats you with the overhelps in the way that he finds cutters and drop-offs. And in the other day, charting this game against Kentucky, just for my own benefit, they got 16 points off drop-offs or back cuts. And he was responsible probably for at least 12 of those 16. But it's like contagious, right? So like when people overhelp and they come to the ball, now that's not even counting the pick and roll game. Right? Yeah. Like everybody looks at the pick and roll game. No, a lot of times, like if you watch Princeton, they're not beating people off the dribble with the pick and roll game. They're beating people off the dribble because they put the ball out in front and they pound that ball like it's going 10 feet in the ground. And that's why they can go by quicker guys. So it's not always the ball screen game. It's what happens on the overhelps. And Kansas State is so good at back cutting,
right?
Finding, and that doesn't even include the passes that he makes for threes or the 30-foot range that he has. So he's phenomenal. I mean, he's against Michigan State. They do such a good job of guarding the elbows, and like they make it really, really hard for you to run your offense because their first line of defense after the man guarding the ball is so good. So like if Kansas State doesn't move those guys off the elbows, he'll have a hard time. But if they get that game going and Michigan State starts overhelping, like other teams have done, they're going to win again.
Yep. He does a terrific job of dragging that extra dribble out to get that cross-court pass as well. Coach, let me ask you, what did you think about the Tennessee?
Really good at that.
Yeah, he is. What did you think about the Tennessee and Duke matchup, and what did you take from that game? There was a lot of talk with it being a Jay Biller said it was a hockey match, and then some people said it was you got to have a cut man in your corner to take on. Did you have a problem with the way that game played out?
Not at all, because here's the deal, right? And you'll watch it tomorrow. You watch it Friday. Those first 3 minutes of the game, usually maybe 4 or 5, give or take. But if you take the first 3 minutes and you see how the game is called, that's how the game is going to be played.
Yep.
and I don't. That's great coaching, is what that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's great coaching. It's players that understand exactly. I thought they were physical, but I thought they got a lot of open shots, and I thought Duke was really good.
Right.
Like, they're a good team. I mean, they got size, they got shooting, they got Whitehead back, the kid Tyrese Proctor. I mean, he's going to be in the NBA a long time when he decides to go, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, they're young.
Mm-hmm.
And Tennessee has got an older team. I think people are losing sight of the fact, like, Josiah Jordan-James is finally playing right. You know, I know he's back from the injury, but he's playing right. Kamwa is a really hard matchup. I think people see Plavich and he's physical and he can foul some, and so they all of a sudden think, well, that's the team. No, that team is skilled. Vescovi is the whole key to that team because he moves without the ball. He can make shots. He's ultimate energy because he's always moving, and he's got his confidence back. I mean, they went through a little bout of lack of confidence. When you lose buzzer beaters like they did, that's going to mess with you. I mean, you look at the Vanderbilt game. Yeah, you look at the Vanderbilt game, Vescovi overhelps out of that corner against Lawrence. That's the game, right? If he stays with Lawrence may still got the shot off, but he wouldn't have had an open shot.
That's right.
And it's like those guys, like, they're playing with great confidence. And Florida Atlantic, they're just not very big. They've got a couple of big guys. The rest of them are guards, and as soon as that turns into a half-court game, it's going to happen again.
Yep. Coach Tom Crean with us on 3HL. Do you guys keep track of that as coaches, the plus-minus thing? Because what you said about Vescovi was interesting to me because I went back and looked. Tennessee played 38 minutes in that game against Duke, and Tennessee was plus 16 with him on the floor. He sat 2 minutes, and they were minus 3. Are coaches in tune with that, and maybe that's why he stayed on the floor the rest of the game?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I didn't need to hear it as much during the game, but I'd have a good feeling based on lineups and I'd have a good feeling based on last 3-4 games. You know, I think 5 sometimes can be too much, but your last 3-4 games, because that's really a 2-week sequence, and now you got a pretty good idea of where they're at plus minus. The key is finding who can play well together. And then the other key is like, okay, if that guy's out, how are we not going to lose ground? Because this guy may not be as good, but at least he can make good decisions. Vescovi, you take him out of the lineup, it's completely different because he doesn't have to have the ball to affect offense. When he does have the ball, he makes things happen. But when he doesn't have the ball, you have to keep guarding him, and that frees things up. And he's such a willing passer. And I knew as soon as Ziegler got hurt, if James can come back and be who they need a fourth-year senior to be, they were going to be fine. Because now all of a sudden, instead of Ziegler, who's really good, but he's also small, right? Now you put James in there, now your matchups are like crazy how hard it's going to be to score against them. And I think that's what you saw with Duke. And I'd be surprised if it's not that way against Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic is good. They shoot, they score, they're athletic. But that's a whole different deal dealing with Tennessee once you're inside that three-point line.
So you like Tennessee in that matchup?
Yeah, I don't even know what the line is, but I do. I like Tennessee a lot because they've got a minimum of 3, and sometimes they can go to 4 guys that can play big. You know, Adu is a key guy there. Meshack, however you say his name, he's gotten so much better. I think Julian Phillips is like he's a wild card. Like if he plays well, they're really rolling. But he doesn't have to play well for them to win. Vescovi has to play well for them to win. He's like Mark Sears at Alabama. Mark Sears has to play well. Now, he didn't play as well this past weekend, and they still won. But if that thing gets tight, Mark Sears has got to play well. Brandon Miller will be fine. Mark Sears has got to be the guy that makes things happen for them.
Coach, you got to hit on the Arkansas-UConn matchup for me. I look at it as Arkansas being able to throw different bodies at the big fella, Sagono.
The big fella.
Yeah. I did that for Coach. Yeah. So, and he's a guy that's a force, but you got an inside presence and you got a shooter that can shoot the laces off of it for UConn. Point guard spot, you tell me different, man. I think that's in question for me as far as just running the team once you get to that half-court set.
Well, I do think Devo Davis played fantastic the other day. I do think what you said is right because when UConn See, everybody's got their stars, but then they got the guys that they've got to have play well, right? And like Tristan Newton has to play well. I shouldn't say has to play well, but when he plays well, they play way better, right? They play way better. And if you go to when they had some struggles in the season, there were some guys that didn't play well. Neither did he.
Yeah.
And I think for Arkansas, the more they have to set up in half court against them, the more the length is going to play into it, and it's going to hurt them. And the fact of the shooting of the ball, the more that Arkansas can turn them over, which they do a good job of, which you can do to UConn, and the more that they play in transition. Like, so if UConn, if Arkansas can make Sanogo and the freshman Klingon have to come up and guard above the 3-point line or at the 3-point line on the break, and if they have to guard those drag pick and rolls, and if they have to come up and guard quick hitting before they can set that defense action, then Arkansas is going to have a chance. When you start running half court and Sanogo can dictate if he's coming out or not, or if they're going to play and leave him in the paint and protect the paint, and all of a sudden it's like adding a sixth defender.
Right.
Because when he doesn't come out of the lane because he doesn't have to guard your pick and roll and to guard you, it's going to, and he doesn't have to guard the bigs at Arkansas like that. They got to get him pulled out because they're just too big and they're too long on the wing. And Arkansas's got to be able to get to the basket. You know, they're going to have to make some jumpers, but they got to get to the basket and create a foul game. Like if Arkansas shoots 10, 12 more free throws than UConn, they can win the game. If the free throws are even, I think UConn wins the game. If UConn shoots more free throws, it may not be close.
You just took my next question.
Got a great chance.
You just hit on the next question. I was going to ask you, can you counter the basketball? Can you counter that 3-point, not making enough 3-point shots by getting to the foul line? And I think Arkansas has a good blueprint of that. If they look back at the Kentucky game, playing against a guy like Sheway, being able to pull him out and make him defend that pick and roll, I think that's why they beat them at Rupp. So, yeah, I'm with you on that, Coach.
No, I agree. But Sanogo is better because, and Klingon is good. The thing about Klingon, and if he comes back to college next year, he'll be an All-American, first or second team. He's that good. He's that quick. Like, some guys are good vertically at the rim, but they're not real good when it comes to moving their feet and getting their hands out. Sanogo has gotten way better there. And so, like, if you're trying to run pick and roll against him, he's active with his hands. You got to get him out of the paint. Yeah. I mean, I just think if that becomes a half-court game, and the other thing that's really underrated about UConn is how good their half-court actions are. Yeah. Like, they run great offense now, and I mean, really, really good offense, and because they have enough guys that can make threes, and they space you. But I think Arkansas, I mean, he's an excellent coach, Eric is. I mean, I think it's going to be – I think if those things happen, right? If they just sit out there missing jump shots, and they don't get to the foul line and they can't pull Sanogo out, and fast break points are going to be huge in that game.
So we've talked about Michigan State, Kansas State, Arkansas, UConn, Tennessee, Florida Atlantic. Is there another game, Coach, that you're really interested in more than others?
Yeah, Princeton, Creighton. To me, I love watching Princeton. I just think I saw him enough in the studio, and then the last week that I was in the studio, we had the Ivy League championship and saw the semis, and I just think what they're doing, Kid Tosan, I think they got two pros on their team. I think the Kid Tosan really, Steve Wojciechowski coined this in the studio, because I know one of the announcers had said he's like a young Boris Diaw, and Steve said he was the Giannis of the Ivy, and he's really right. Like, this kid, he's not Giannis. I mean, nobody is, but for the Ivy League and what he's doing in this tournament, there's no matchups for him. You put a big on him, he's going by him. You put a smaller guy, he can see through him. He can get around them. They've got unbelievable footwork. The Pierce kid that's a freshman, he's an NBA player in the future. He's only a freshman, but he's an NBA player from the upper body right now. I don't know if his lower body's there yet with quickness, but like release, shooting the ball. I just think they're so underestimated. They are so fundamentally good with how they attack you with the dribbles. They pound the ball. They get the ball out in front. They don't waste time in dribbles. They space the floor, and they're way quicker defensively than people believe or people realize. And then the thing with Creighton, Kalkbrenner is such a factor at the rim. But, I mean, Villanova beat them at Villanova. I think they had a kid get 30-something, right? And because he can't go out and guard.
Right.
And Princeton's playing 5 perimeter guys. And so that's going to be a factor. I mean, I think Princeton will be fun to watch. I think they're more physical than people think. Creighton, I don't think is as physical as people might give them credit for. And I would not sleep on Princeton in that game.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because they didn't just out-rebound Missouri. They dominated the boards and the offensive boards against Missouri.
Yeah, because here's again, they're like European team. I'm going to do the Division II championships for Westwood 1 on Saturday in Evansville. So, like, I've really been watching. They had the quarters yesterday, and then they'll have the semis tomorrow. So I'm watching all these teams, and I'm like, Division II, like, these guys have such a European style of play and the way – 5 guys can handle, 5 guys can make decisions, at least 3 to 4 can shoot, and they rebound out of the corners, right? Like that's one of the most. When my teams were at their best, we rebounded the ball offensively. We rebounded the heck out of it out of the corners. That's one thing Tom Izzo's teams have always done. They rebound out of the corners, and so many guys get stuck standing in the corner, watching, running into a back. Like, corner's the ultimate no man's land when the shot goes up. Like, you can hide in the corner and think you're jogging back. The people that sprint and rebound, and here's the other thing Princeton does. They keep spacing you. They get 3 guys on a side, and you don't even know what's happening. And so all of a sudden, you're driving, here's the play, and you forgot all about the guy in the corner, and he's either got a back cut or a tip because he rebounded and they all forgot about it.
Yep.
They're really good. And offensive rebounding, again, it's an extra possession, but it's a high-level opportunity not only to get a 3, but to get to the foul line.
Coach Crean. I mean, I feel like we were on the whiteboard.
I love it.
This is amazing
Really
stuff, man.
Well, got me going with the heel toe, man, because not every day you hear that. I'm interested in talking basketball. Right?
That's how Slay shot it from the logo.
That's right.
Coach, thank you so much for the time. I know you're really, really busy with all your basketball responsibilities. But
No, I'm good. I'm just studying. I'm in Florida, man. It's like 80 degrees today. I'm good.
Coach.
No complaint.
All right,
Rub it in, Coach. Thank you.
Living that
Hey,
life.
thanks, Coach. Appreciate you. Gave us some things to watch. That's
You're
for
welcome.
sure. All right, Coach Crean.
You're
Tom,
welcome. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
At Tom
Coach.
Crean on Twitter. Must follow.
Man, I'm telling you, man. Like, you want to
Dude.
learn about the game?
He breaks it down like no other.
Ain't no question.
But he simplifies it, which is why he's great on TV.
What's our guy, Hubie? If you want to watch NBA and learn about NBA, listen to Hubie Brown. You want to
Brown,
listen to
yeah.
college? Tom Crean doing the exact same thing, man.
3HL 1045 this home. Got a lot of sports coming up in the next 4 days, that's for sure. Get the bar stocked up and do it with my friends at Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits. They are the best. If you want to grab and go, you can certainly do that at Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits. If you want choices in your wine selection, they have a vast selection. Bourbon, craft beer, cigars, whatever you need, they'll be able to help you out. And they've got the personnel. My guy Jason, his guys, they'll be able to help you. Maybe find something new if you're having people over. Maybe you want to get 2, 3, maybe 4 different bourbons to do a tasting. They can help you with that for sure. Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits in the Public Shopping Center, 101 Creekside Crossing in Brentwood. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 until 9, closed on Sundays. They do have delivery through the Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits app, which is cool, and curbside pickup as well. Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits, locally owned and has served the Middle Tennessee area for more than 17 years. Don't forget, when you're grabbing that bottle of your favorite wine or spirit, pick up that perfect cigar to end the night. They'll be able to help you there. If you're a novice, if you're an expert, either way, you can pop in and get what you're looking for. Maybe you don't even know what you're looking for, but they'll still help you, of course. Every Wednesday, Senior Day, so come on in for special discounts. That's today. Every day they honor the military discount. Case discounts every day too. Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits, 101 Creekside Crossing in Brentwood by the Publix. Maryland Farms, WS.com. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
Wow.
Let's try to work in some calls real quick as we work our way through here. Dr. C next up on 3HL. What's up, Doc?
Hey, guys. And you too, Babs. I really do enjoy your show. Listen whenever I can.
Thank
I had
you.
everything concise in my mind, but when I got to listening to Big Ron shooting from the rafters, and then Coach Crean came on, kind of scattered my thoughts a little bit.
Hey, Coach Crean was high-level stuff right there, man. I felt like I was in school.
Yeah, tell me, that's the most intelligent, high level that I've ever heard, actually. And you let him know that, man, he was throwing it down. Now, I don't know what the line is giving or getting, Big Ron, but I think I know I will. You probably too. When we get a chance, we looking at Princeton. I'm giving up to 4 or 5.
It's 9.5.
Yeah,
it's big.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna jump on it now. Listen to Coach Crean.
9.5. Princeton giving 9.5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They get 9.5. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting 9.5.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They getting 9.5.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's gonna call for a double shot, Ron.
You better believe it. I'm jumping on that one as a single game parlay on that one,
Yeah,
baby.
absolutely. This Noel guy, it doesn't matter if somebody intended an insult or not. I mean, this guy is playing. He's a ball of fun to watch. I saw the last game, but he's making passes like Magic Johnson, and then going back further than that, like Pistol Pete Marriage. He's a hoot to watch, and he's a real deal. Now to the Titans. Number one, I was a little bit disappointed. You can tell me if it was not possible or not, but I thought we should have signed Josh Dobbs to a contract before he got a chance to go to Cleveland or wherever.
Dr. C, hey, thanks for the call and the love, man. We're out of time, but yeah, Josh
A lot
Dobbs.
of people felt that way.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs to the Browns, for those that don't know. Do you have something to read?
I do.
Is it Slay's Liners?
Thanks, Dr.
This
C.
is brought to you by who?
Your mama now.
Awaken 180 weight loss fast, yet sustainable weight loss without medications, fasting, or the gym. Reserve your Awaken 180 at-home consultation today.
We got to give some away, too.
Oh, do I get to read that, too?
Yeah, go for it. Bab's Surprise Closet, open. Go.
Darn, I wish I had some good music. The 104.5 The Zone ticket window is now open thanks to Window Nation. Be caller number 5 now to win your chance to win 4 to see Nashville SC versus Cincinnati FC this Saturday at Geodis Park from Babsy's Surprise Closet.
That's right.
Presented by Artisan Custom Closets.
Or Artisan.
615-737-1045. Oh, it's Artisan.
You
Sorry.
nailed it.
Artisan.
Perfect. I made you do it.
Yes, you did.
Yep. And thank you, Elijah, for calling in. Sorry that we didn't get a chance to get to you. Matt Damon.
That show flew by, man.
That was fun.
Because you got to talk a whole lot of ball.
Let's do it again
Basketball.
tomorrow. Daniel Jeremiah from the NFL Network will talk draft with us. Big Savagery.
Yeah.
Ramon Foster and
Cosell.
Greg Cosell. Best film evaluator in the world. All right. Out of
It's
here.
going to be a fun day.
Really appreciate y'all. Hope you have a great night. Good night. God bless.
See ya.
Yeah.